is Shazam. Many people remember the 1990s movie starring Sinbad as a genie. They remember the title, the VHS box.
A creature like that, how would it ever die?
And this monster starts running right at me.
Annihilated by nuclear bombs.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I saw that monster too. All I want is for someone to believe me.
Contaminated.
Face. Horrible. Look like it would scare you to death.
All right, let's get to work.
Feel the shadows. He steps into the house without a word. No introductions, no breathing, nothing to guide him. Within seconds, he stops and looks down the hallway like he's not alone. He starts talking about a woman, older, something wrong with her chest, then gives a name. The homeowners go silent. No one had told him anything. No one had even spoken yet. And the worst part? This wasn't happening in private. It was being filmed, documented, and broadcast to millions, leaving one question that still hasn't been answered. Was Peter James actually seeing something? Or was this one of the most convincing illusions ever put on television? This week on the podcast, we're discussing
Peter James, actual psychic with real evidence or TV illusion?
Bum, bum, bum.
Bum, bum, bum. Give me a second of transition sounds here. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Victus.
And I'm Peter James. I'm kidding, I'm not. I'm Hazel, but I do have the mustache.
She's got the mustache. She's got her mustache tonight. Hold up. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom in so everyone can see the mustache. The Peter James mustache.
Ooh. Like at this point, I'm not sure, is it Peter James or is it Super Mario? I'm not 100% sure.
I was saying
but
that you kind of look like Peach.
Yeah, you did say that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, my foot trigger's not working now. What do you know? So we're stuck. This is the only camera angle you see.
You get to look at this fancy mustache all night.
There we go.
Yeah.
I just did it manually. Does it? Will it go back? Oh, now it goes back. Hey, how's it going? Hey, we're switching. We're switching. So I'm here with my host this evening, Cheech. No, there is a reason she's wearing his mustache tonight. Peter James, the renowned psychic, the American psychic. We're going to discuss him tonight. He is known for an excellent mustache. Excellent mustache.
Yeah, and I will say it's kind of funny because you have had a mustache for as long as I've known you, and you're always saying, oh, you know, I've got to trim my mustache, or oh, I got like a piece of hair in my mouth or something. And before the show, I was like hurriedly trimming this mustache because the little pieces of hair kept getting in my mouth and making me want to sneeze.
The struggle is real.
Very grateful that I don't have this in real life, but
the worst part is the nose hairs will grow into the mustache.
Oh.
And it just tickles your nose all day long.
Oh, wow.
That's why you always see dudes ripping out nose hairs because they're sticking into their mustache and it drives them crazy.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
Struggle is real. It's not just a nice face piece. It is, and you know, the longer ones like that, like this one and the one Peter James has, when it gets past the lip, it makes it really difficult to do any kind of eating or drinking.
I'm sure it does. Like I have my coffee sitting here and I'm going to have to take this off to drink my coffee because I don't want whatever this is going into my body. But I would, if I had this in real life, I would definitely be one of those people who carried around a kit and like homed it and took really good care of it.
Yeah, there are people that do that.
Like a tiny blow dryer.
Yeah, a tiny blow dryer. So we are your professional, personal paranormal investigators. And this is the greatest paranormal podcast in the world, as long as you don't fact check it. We record a live show every week, one take, no edits, and try to figure out if this week's case is truly paranormal or just bullshit. Hazel, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm feeling silly. I'm feeling goofy. Like I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm
Good.
ready for date night. Did you ever think that, like, as a married man, you would go on date night with your wife and she would be wearing a mustache?
No, no, she was just on the other side of the monitors here. There's a little like makeup mirror, and she was over there with scissors trimming it up. And I was like, "What are you doing over there? Trimming your mustache?" She said, "Yeah." And I said, "You know, I never thought I'd say that to my wife, but it happens."
How are you doing, Victus?
I'm doing okay. I've spent more time on this episode than I have in a long time. I really wanted to get this one right.
I Lip. Thanks for subscribing.
Oh.
It's the #1 paranormal podcast in the world, according to me.
Thank you, Blip.
Thank
You're
you,
the
Blip.
best.
Let's get a round of applause for Blip, everybody. Blip, we're glad you're here. What did you think of that opener there? How did that sound? I changed it a little bit. So it was before. So I've listened. I did the one thing this week that I hate doing more than anything as a podcaster is I hate going back and listening to previous episodes of the podcast, mostly because I just can't stand the sound of my own voice. What I hear in my ear sounds so much different. Like I think I sound like a great radio personality with this voice. But when I go back and listen to it, I sound like a 12-year-old going through puberty in my ears.
I don't like listening to myself either. I get it.
Worlds of Confusion is here, everybody.
Yay!
Worlds.
Hey.
Yes, everybody's here tonight. Welcome, Worlds. We're glad you're here. Worlds
Hey,
here.
guys.
Blip is here. How you doing, Worlds? Glad you're here. Check out Hazel's amazing mustache,
I
everybody.
missed you for 2 weeks running.
Check out Hazel's amazing mustache.
We missed you a lot too, but I'm glad you came back tonight so you could really, appreciate the mustache situation. I don't know how long this...
OMG Hazel, you legend.
I don't know how long the sticky's gonna last, so can't promise this will be a more than one episode thing. But
It is stunning.
thank you.
Round of applause for the mustache, everybody. Wait till you see the mustache on the fellow we're covering tonight. He is the reason we're rocking the big mustache tonight. My original plan was to act like I forgot to order the mustache, and then on the show be like, "Here you go." But I'm glad you had some time to mess with it, because I can vouch from experience that little stray hairs were going to drive you crazy. I'm glad we got that situated.
Me too.
It would have been wonderfully entertaining to see you put a mustache live on live.
Yeah, it probably would have been really crooked too. I mean, it was a lot. I don't do really well with like
Is
putting
it a
things
Bigfoot
on.
guy? I know that a Bigfoot guy looks like Tom Selleck.
No,
The
we're
Bigfoot
doing
guy.
Peter James. He's a psychic, and he looks like Sam Elliott. That's the best way.
He
looks like an older version. Well, no,
Yeah,
Sam
well,
Elliott looks old.
I think
so-
Sam Elliott is like the cleaned up cowboy version of this
awesome.
man. Yeah.
You know what? Now I want to do a side by side of Sam Elliott and Peter James.
It's really difficult because
Oh, he's got a gray mustache.
but he has a gray mustache, but he has the black eyebrows,
Was he the guy doing the stuff in Alcatraz last week?
Yes.
He was.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't want to pull up a horrible picture. He does not look right without a mustache.
I do feel like it's difficult to compare him to Sam Elliott because Sam Elliott's such a legend, but it really
Yes.
is the closest comparison that we've got.
Peter Fonda? What? No. Peter James. See, I found out just today that there are other psychics named as Peter James, and they are just as famous.
So it's funny because I Googled to get this exact picture actually that you're pulling up now. How funny is that?
There's not many pictures of him.
Well, I mean, this is when I chose out of what was available, so that's really funny. But I pulled this picture up, and the first psychic that came up was the other dude. But
Yeah.
I before we started, I had to send a selfie, and this picture he's going to show to my parents to be like, hey, look, it's the same. We're the same person. I don't know if my mom got it or not, but we'll find out.
Sam Elliott. Peter James. There we go. Check this out. So Sam Elliott is our tough Western individual with the stunning mustache, and Peter James is our psychic paranormal guy with a stunning mustache. They could pass for brothers.
Only with the facial hair, though. Like if the facial hair didn't exist, it would. But
Like they got the curve in the eyebrow. They got the gray hair that's, kind of long, but not really long. Yeah, really interesting. I never really thought to put that side by side, but I'm glad we did because they look very similar.
they do with the giant beards and the eyebrows for
If
sure.
If Sam Elliott had a dark mustache, they could pass for twins.
And in that they're both little old men in
Little
these
old men.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool. That is there's your first comparison tonight. This is your first piece of evidence.
There's your opener. Hard to follow that up. Guess
Yeah,
we'll
right?
just call it a night.
Let me get everything lined back up over here. All right. So before we get going too far, I do got some
wait.
quick shout outs to
I
do.
do have to interrupt really quickly. My dad said that we are the same people.
Oh, really?
Me and Peter James are the
Same.
same people.
Look
Yeah,
exactly the
he
same.
just responded.
Mirror image of each other. But we do got to do a quick shout out. I always say that I'll give you a shout out on the channel if you guys subscribe to the podcast. The only time I very rarely get actual analytic information. It only really updates like once every 2 months for me. So my last time I was able to give shout outs was the middle of February. So I just got a new fresh list this week. So I'm going to do a quick little shout out of all the people that subscribe to the YouTube channel. And there's many, many more than this, but this is just the ones that their profiles are set to public and I can see who followed. So first up, we have Tyler Ebner. Thank you for your subscription on YouTube. William Dodd. Yes, you're amazing. XV Illuminate. Joseph Contreras. Eric Creel. Nathan Lewis. Randy Premsey. Shakti and Friends. Will Smith.
Wouldn't that be funny?
It's.
But that is this
Hold
person's
on.
name.
Well,
It's
I'll
not
click-
the real deal, though.
I'm going to click on his profile so as we're done here. I want to see. And last but not least, Worlds of Confusion.
Worlds
just
of
subscribe.
Confusion! Yay!
Thank you, Worlds of Confusion, for your sub. Thank you so much.
Sorry I
You're
yelled
the
in your
best.
ear. That was like a legit reaction, though.
Yeah, you gotta learn to lean back when you get loud. It comes with time. Thank you so much for. You did not have to sub. That is not what we were getting at. These are the free subscriptions on YouTube. It costs nothing to subscribe on YouTube. And last but not least, Mr. Wolf's Jukebox. Thank
I
you for
assumed
your
I
sub.
already was so glad I checked.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. We both really appreciate you. And I want to click on this Will Smith character. Oh, no, it's clearly a white guy who plays guitar.
He has a dog, though, it looks like.
It does have a dog. Bodie. Dog's name is Bodie, everybody.
Shout out to Bodie. Also.
Shout out to Bodie. You're the best, too. Well, thank you to all our new subs, and thank you, Blip and Worlds of Confusion. You guys are the best. I keep meaning to make an audio clip of Drake. Drake does that once. I don't even know the name of the song. Where he says, you the best. Because I say that all the time, you the best.
I think you need to find a different audio.
Yeah. Let's not.
Different source.
I take it back. Let's
not
not
use-
clip Drake.
Let's not clip him.
Yeah, let's not clip Drake. But Worlds, you haven't been here since we've done it, but do you remember when we did the San Pedro Poltergeist? And I think you recommended that we should have the sound from when he got snatched by the ghost in the attic with the news. Right before he did the sound, there was like early 1990s dramatic music. It was like, and you said, oh, you should totally clip that audio clip and put it on your soundboard. Well, you know what? We did it. We clipped it. We clipped it, and it is part of the soundboard. Let me fade this music out, and I'll give you a little taste. A little taste of our 1990s magic. And without further ado, this sound effect is called Panic. Horrible keyboard. Horrible keyboard. Jeez. Any hoots and hollers. Before we get going too far, I do want to say thank you everybody who subscribed on YouTube. If you do want to email us, send an email for an idea for a future episode, or you have a personal story of a ghost, paranormal claim, a tale, something spooky that's happened to you in the past, you can email us at beyondshadows@gmail.com. We will be glad to read your story out live on the podcast. And also don't forget to subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already, because that is where 99% of all of my effort goes in, because it's the easiest for me
Panic
to manage.
emotes.
Panic. All right, well, let's get into this week's news and paranormal. We do got some interesting stuff. Okay, we do have two current trending paranormal stories, and we talked about both of them this week.
Did we?
We did.
Okay.
But we're gonna roll through this thing. We're gonna get into our this week's news and paranormal. We're gonna trade off like last week, and when we get done, I do want to talk a little bit about the two cases. But without further ado, before we move on to tonight's case, let's look at the headlines that are making waves in the paranormal world right now. Let's take a look at this week's news in paranormal. But first up, government insider sparks new disclosure fears. A U.S. Congressman Tim Burchett made headlines this week after claiming that classified briefings on extraterrestrial life would leave the public, quote, up at night worrying, end quote. He stopped short of giving details, but said the information he's seen would cause the country to, quote, come unglued if released. The comment has reignited calls for disclosure and raised questions about what is actually being kept hidden.
Oh, I get to read the really good one. Easter disclosure prediction gains attention. Chris Bledsoe, known for his long-standing claims of contact with non-human intelligence, has recently pointed to Easter Sunday as a significant date tied to extraterrestrial disclosure or a major event. While he hasn't provided concrete details, the prediction is gaining traction online, especially among those already following the disclosure movement. As with similar claims in the past, there's no official confirmation, but the timing has people watching closely.
And next we have this one. She's already laughing. This one's interesting. FEMA official claims teleportation to Waffle House. In one of the strangest stories making headlines this week, a man claiming to have worked for the Federal Emergency Management Agency claimed he experienced a teleportation event that allegedly placed him inside a Waffle House with no memory of how he got there. The claim includes references to disorientation and missing time, but no physical evidence has been presented. As expected, reactions range from outright dismissal to speculation about experimental technology or altered states of consciousness.
Officials at the Waffle House and customers claim to have never seen this man. Additionally, White House quietly prepares for UFO disclosure. Recent reports show that the U.S. government has registered domains like alien.gov and aliens.gov following directives to begin releasing UFO-related files. Officials have offered no explanation for what the sites will be used for, simply telling the public to stay tuned. For many, it's another sign that something bigger may be coming.
And finally, but not least, a new UFO documentary pushes... Yes.
Blip,
yes,
I would believe you before I believe this man.
I concur.
Yes.
A recent documentary featuring interviews with former military and intelligence officials claimed the government has concealed evidence of extraterrestrial technology for decades. Critics argue that the film lacks hard proof, but supporters say it's one of the most compelling collections of insider testimony to date. And as always, whether it's predictions of disclosure, claims of impossible technology, or someone allegedly teleporting into a Waffle House, we'll let you decide what's real and what's just noise. So yeah, before we get too far ahead, I want to talk about a couple of those headlines. Your favorite, the Waffle House teleportation.
Oh my my gosh.
She actually brought this one up to me.
I did. I saw it and I was like, okay, so I'll just say it is and has been for several years now, to put it lightly, a trying time to live in the United States. And but to teleport for a government official to say that they teleported to a Waffle House. Now, a Waffle House of all places. Waffle House is where it goes down.
What is the American
right?
trend with Waffle Houses and news anymore?
But you know what? You know those Waffle House employees, they are ready. They have seen things. They would be the first ones to not be afraid to say they'd seen something.
Absolutely.
And these Waffle House employees were like, no, we've never seen them. And I say that like with the greatest amount of respect, because Waffle House is open 24 hours a day, and in the middle of the night, as the older folks like to say, nothing good happens.
So yeah, this is an actual headline. It was in the New York Times. This made it onto the New York Times. This guy teleported to a Waffle House.
I could not believe it. It was wild.
I just, teleportation, mixing with the government. I mean, very loosely tied to the government. FEMA, that's about as far of a reach from the government as you can get. It might have federal in the title, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a government agency. But I don't see how FEMA could be tied to any experimental teleportation devices. But
Fantastic.
it really is, right? It does raise questions like UFOs, abduction. We have missing time here. But didn't you say in the article that he was moved by God or something?
Yeah, so that was the other part of it too. And I can say that I have never heard someone use teleportation and God in the same
Yeah. It's a little silly.
idea.
But
So
very interesting. It made the New York Times. Inversely, this Chris Bledsoe account. So we actually covered the case about Chris Bledsoe in season 2. It was interesting enough. We actually got a good number of comments on the case, which is rare. We don't usually get people commenting on the long form videos. Most people comment on the short form stuff, but we actually got 5 or 6 comments on the long form video, and a lot of people agree that his case is legitimately paranormal. And I want to say that I said that it was paranormal. I could be wrong. However, let's get into the nitty gritty of what he said. And this prediction was made in 2012. He said, in 2026, Easter Sunday, a star would be visible over the Sphinx. And the star would change color. And if it did, that meant that extraterrestrials are going to make themselves known to the world. And he later said in that same prediction that at the time the United States would be at war with Iran. All right. So we've already checked. We got Easter Sunday, 2026. We're here. It's the day. We've got the war with Iran. Are you ready for my favorite part? My favorite piece of the evidence? Who's seen the Space Force logo lately? In case you're wondering, a little coincidental, this was changed to this image in 2022. I can't see any reason at all why they would choose this. I get the star, because, traditionally the star is the image of, or the symbol for a wanderer, right? However, the world with the head of an Egyptian king, queen, whatever, an Egyptian royalty, obviously. It could be anybody, but this is the head of the Sphinx. That's exactly what it looked like when it was built. All right? I don't know what they're getting at here. What are your thoughts on that?
all I have to say is if this happened, I know that there are a lot of people in the world who would prefer that
The
it
outside
happens
shape is Star Trek, and the pyramid is Stargate.
before
Right?
they have to go to work on
They
a
just
Monday
lazily
morning.
ripped off sci-fi shows.
I'll say that again. I feel like a lot of people would probably want to make sure that this happens before they go to work on Monday morning.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And I totally agree with you. They absolutely did. Worlds. They ripped off. They ripped off some shows.
They did.
I don't think so. Here's the thing. I think we're gonna wake up tomorrow and everything's gonna be just fine. Just like all the other times. It's funny that this was in 2012 because you remember 2012 in December, like
Right. Everybody was talking about doomsday stuff in
supposed to be
2012.
done. But here we are 14 years later.
Yeah.
But no, this is hilarious because their logo is ripped off of all the shows. Worlds is absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're back, Worlds.
Yeah. Worlds and Blip, y'all both make this show great. You really do.
TTS is louder than you guys BTW.
Oh, geez. I can't see TTS. Where is TTS in my slider here?
Gotta get this mustache.
Oh, yeah.
off
It's
for a minute.
peaking big time. What the hell? All my audio sources reset
Lovely
this
to be
week.
here.
I don't know why all of my audio sources reset this week. I lost everything, all my settings. I actually chose not to update before the show tonight, and
Hi at I3 Lip, by the way.
yeah, I don't know what's going on with the audio sources. I'm hoping everything else sounds fine right now. I'm monitoring as much as I can. Yeah, like everything got moved. Yeah, there we go. That's what I should be seeing. I don't get it.
Hello, worlds. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody, by the way. Yeah. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
I got to participate in an Easter egg hunt yesterday as an adult
Yeah.
with adult prizes, which was very fun.
Happy Christian holiday, heavily laced with pagan symbols.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. It was the amalgamation of religions.
Hell yeah.
I ended up bringing home 3 prizes, which was really cool. I brought home a shirt, a hat, and a koozie. And the koozie
Oh.
has a donut on it.
Wait, the koozie's in my back pocket.
Oh,
Yeah, I meant to bring it out, but I'm drinking a big can right now, so it won't. I mean, I guess it'll fit.
Oh, wow, you did well.
I was so excited. So they put out like 1,200 eggs, and I think they had probably like 100 that had these little numbers in them that were for, people of all ages. And then you bring the numbers in, and they give you different prizes that the
Ooh.
business is sponsored. And this is a place where Victus likes to go get donuts sometimes. So
They have wonderful donuts.
Yeah.
So at work we were talking about this place. It's called Corner Bakery. Can I steal your cup holder? Because that doesn't want to sit flat with the koozie on it. We were talking about this bakery at work a couple weeks ago, and our lead mechanic at the shop said that he was in South Carolina a few years back, and he saw that he was wearing a local shirt, and he goes, "Hey, is that Corner Bakery in Virginia?" He said, "Yeah, how do you know that?" He said, "Man, everybody around here knows Corner Bakery in South Carolina." And that's,
Wow.
it's 2 states away, isn't it?
yeah.
And- and-
There's 2 states in between us and them.
So about
Well,
4 or
no,
5
wait.
hours away at least.
Essentially 2. Yes.
Yeah. Half-day drive,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
And they know about our bakery that's just within walking distance of our house.
Yeah,
So
because we
weird.
are almost not in Virginia anymore, so we have almost
Yeah.
2 states between us. Yeah, but anyway,
Well,
neither here nor there.
enough ribble rabble, and great for everybody, or great everybody's being here tonight. Let me get my screen reset here now that we're done looking at conspiracy stuff with Space Force and a possible prediction of alien disclosure this week. We'll see what happens. If anybody teleports to a Waffle House, make sure you let us know. Email us at beyondshadowspodcast@gmail.com. Hey, I am not.
Please email us.
Yeah, I have no shame about it.
Let us know if they give you a discount for teleporting.
Right? Yeah. A saved gas money discount. All right. Well, let's get into this. We're going to trade off like last week, right? Okay. We're going to do like we did last week. We're going to go through. Tonight we are talking about the world-renowned psychic Peter James. We talked about him last week in the Alcatraz episode, and we specifically dedicated an entire act of that investigation to Peter James as a preface to tonight. And another reason why Hazel is wearing this amazing mustache tonight We actually got a comment on one of our reels on Instagram, or no, on YouTube this week, where we both agreed that he had an amazing mustache, and the commenter said, "Yes, I third that. An amazing mustache." So tonight we were talking about Peter James, the American psychic. We're going to talk a little bit about him. We're going to look at some of his investigative tactics. We're going to look at some of the things he does. But we are going to be especially critical tonight because we want to make sure you know how much I love Peter James. You better agree that this is paranormal tonight. You better agree. No, okay, it's fine. Form your own
You're gonna
opinion.
make me sleep downstairs with a puppy tonight?
No, I will sleep downstairs with the puppy.
Oh.
You get the big cold bed, I'll get the warm couch with the puppy
Oh.
and a cat running around doing flips all night.
It's that serious.
No, not like that. But still, I'm a big fan of Peter James, despite what we come down on tonight.
I don't think I've heard of this guy before, so I'm excited.
He was very, very popular in the 90s. Very, very popular.
He's an excellent TV personality, for sure.
What was the other psychic? Sylvia Brown?
Yes.
She was, yeah, they were like neck and neck. The top male and female psychics of the 90s, early 2000s. Peter James has a little bit of mystery about him. And you want to know the weird thing about it? There's only like 5 pictures of the guy on the internet. Really weird. Considering he was a TV personality, there is very little about the man. Apparently, outside of doing his paranormal investigations, he was very quiet. He was very to himself. His brother was his spokesperson. He did not like the limelight, ironically. He preferred to be secluded. And as a result, we have very little photo evidence of the man outside of TV shows and what he did publicly. But other than that, it's really strange to look somebody up and only find 5 pictures. So we will see what we come up with tonight. I'm actually looking forward to this because I'm a huge Peter James fan. I'm a huge Sightings fan, which we'll get into that too. We do have a bit to talk about Sightings and why, where, and when, and how he got mixed up with them. Geez, that camera. Still can't get that right.
Wait, but before we start Act 1, you made some changes to the beginning of the show. And something is missing.
I forgot. I totally forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I forgot to tell you, everybody. I was able to get a hold of Peter James's brother. All right? And I said, hey, we're doing this podcast about your brother. He's like, let me stop you right there. This always ends badly. All right? I need you to be careful. This is dangerous. I said, dangerous? It's Peter James. How could it be dangerous? And he stopped me. He's like, shh. And he reached through the phone and he shushed my little lips. Shh. It's like, what's going on? He's like, before you go any further, I need to know. It's very important. It has everything in the world to do with your investigation. I said, what is it? And he asked me this question. What shirt are you wearing today? World. Sorry, yeah, I've been playing with the layout a little bit this week, and I apparently left out that segment in the script. Thank you for catching that. Good catch.
Yeah.
Good
That's what I'm
catch.
here for. It's like that and the mustache are all I'm bringing to the table tonight.
I was so excited about the mustache in my new chair that I forgot about one of our favorite segments. What shirt are you wearing today? I am wearing my very favorite Mothman shirt. Let's check this out, folks. Mothman. It says the Harbinger of Doom, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Part man, part moth. I love the old school, Flash comic book stuff. Mothman is my favorite.
Nice.
And what shirt are you wearing tonight?
I am wearing a shirt that they've already seen because you have this shirt also, but this is it on me. I am wearing Adventure Time. And I'm also wearing my
Adventure Time hat.
BMO
It'd be my hat.
I'm wearing my first Ouija board, another Stephen Rhodes.
Oh, Stephen Rhodes. Yes, Stephen Rhodes is a permanent fixture. Oh yeah, you're drifting a little bit. Let me drag you over. You're
I'm
bumping our
drifting.
Stephen Rhodes poster.
Oh no,
It's gonna fall. It's gonna fall.
that's gonna fall.
It's gonna fall.
Maybe it's a message from
It's
the
a
great beyond.
It's a message from our alien friends that are supposed to make themselves known this week, or rather this next week, I guess. I don't know. It depends on what their time frame looks like with the holidays.
Maybe their Easter Sunday's different than our Easter Sunday.
Maybe so. It's hard to say. It is hard to say. Either way, let's get into it, folks. We're going to get into this. This is season 3, episode 14 of Beyond the Shadows podcast. Tonight we are discussing Peter James, real evidence of psychic phenomenon or TV illusion. This is Act 1, everybody. Act 1. By the time Peter James appeared on national television, the idea of psychic investigators wasn't new. What made him stand out wasn't just a claim that he could perceive things others couldn't. It was how quickly he did it and how often the people around him reacted like he was getting it right. Peter James didn't come into the public eye as a stage psychic or an entertainer. There's no record of him building a career through performances or readings for crowds. Instead, his reputation developed in a much quieter way, through private cases. People would bring him into homes, into locations tied to reported activity, and ask him to describe what he felt, what he saw, or what he believed had happened there. According to those accounts, his method was simple. He would enter a space with little or no prior information and describe impressions. Sometimes emotional, sometimes visual, and occasionally very specific. Names, events, cause of death. Details that, at least according to witnesses, matched real people or real incidents connected to the location. And that's where the problem usually begins with cases like this, because without documentation, without a controlled environment, and without a record of what was said before and after verification, those claims sit in a gray area. Memory fills in gaps. People unintentionally reshape details, and over time, stories become more convincing than the evidence that originally supported them. For most psychics, that's where the story stays. Second-hand accounts, testimonials, and belief. But Peter James didn't stay there. At some point in the early 90s, his work caught the attention of producers looking to approach the paranormal differently. Not as entertainment, but as something closer to investigation. Something that could be filmed, reviewed, and, at least in theory, evaluated. And that's how we ended up connected to Sightings, the single greatest television show made by men. And that's where things start to change. Because once cameras are involved, the rules are different. What's said can be recorded, reactions can be analyzed, and claims can, at least partially, be tested against what's known. But it also introduces a new problem. Editing, production influence, the possibility that what you're seeing isn't exactly what happened, or at least not the full picture. So heading into the next part of this, there's really only two possibilities. Either Peter James was demonstrating something real, something that under the right conditions can be observed and documented, or he became part of a system that was so very good at making it look that way. And the only place to start figuring that out is with the footage itself. All right, so that's the end of Act 1. I did not know that he didn't start out his career as a psychic. I assumed that, like every other person, you see a lot of these people, especially psychics like Sylvia Brown. She wrote her first couple books before she was accepted as a psychic, and then she was brought onto the scene and people started taking her seriously. He never wrote a book before he got famous. It was only after he got famous he wrote a book. It's interesting that there's no foundational work with I love the way that you're twirling the mustache, by the way. It's interesting that there's no
I was wondering if you were going to notice.
there's no foundation in magic. That's a big thing for me. I wanted to make sure that he didn't have
I was just thinking the same.
About the mustache or the magic?
You look like you. Really enjoying it.
I was. This might have to be a permanent fixture.
We'll stick this to the wall at the end of the episode. It'll become a new prop piece. But yeah, it's really interesting that there's no like background in like magic or sleight of hand or stage, something with stage, because you see a lot of people that are psychics will have that. And I think that's a green flag, because the psychics that have been public about their psychic abilities and they had their foundation in like magic or sleight of hand, when you do that type of employment, you have a predisposition to deception. And I don't see that with him.
I mean, okay, so you know that I have a thing for little old men anyway, so it's hard for me to immediately distrust him because I see him and I'm like, look how cute he is. He can't be deceiving us at all. So, but at the same time, I am a little more skeptical than you are, I think.
Well, I'm trying to keep a level head about the evidence, because it's really weird that he's nowhere. Like I even tried finding his obituary in the LA Times newspaper. Couldn't even find that. Which is a little weird. He is buried in Los Angeles. Where did he say he was born? Like New York or Jersey or something, somewhere up north. Very interesting that he made his way all the way to California. Tiny red flag being in California, but I mean, everybody goes to get in that day. If you wanted to be famous, that's where you went. Now, I don't know a whole lot about his personal life. It was really difficult researching this subject because a lot of his personal information was just never really readily available. Like I said, his older brother did all of his, like press and FaceTime stuff outside of the camera work. There's a biography written about him, but it leaves very little about, personally about him. Whereas like the case with Edgar Casey, we have tons of information. We know when he was born, where he was born, what he was like growing up, struggles he had as a child. We don't have any of this information about Peter James. It's really strange that he just, poof, one day, here he is. But it's just something to take into account for the rest of the investigation. Let's keep that on the back of our minds. What are you thinking about Peter James so far?
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing is I'm just really skeptical. I think I'm always going to be, and I hate using always, but I think I'm always going to be really skeptical when it comes to someone who is famous in any sort of way and using that avenue to showcase something like this. Even though he didn't have as much out there about him as like Sylvia Brown did, right? He still was on TV. It's just harder, I think. And then I think about a lot of the times when we all want to believe, right, that you can communicate with the dead. We all want to believe that that's a real thing, and well, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of people do. But
I mean, it was the early 90s. I mean, any time in the 90s, you throw the word psychic around, you grab people's attention. It was the era of psychic abilities and it being out there.
Right. And then we think about like Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings, where they have these people who get on there and claim to be psychics, and you see them in these rooms and you see how they, go about claiming that they're talking to someone's loved ones. And you can see how that could be a scam, I mean, depending on the situation. And the clips we saw last week were pretty tough, because even though he said he'd never been in Alcatraz before, he didn't know anything about Alcatraz at that time. Public libraries probably had a lot of readily available information. So even if he himself didn't go in, he could have had a team or someone who relayed information to him. And I'm not saying they did, but when we look at things with a skeptical eye like that, just to kind of keep it in focus. So I'm interested to see more like proof tonight and information tonight to kind of help me better get a grip on this situation, because I want to believe that he was real, like really a psychic, I know he was real. He was a real person, but
Was
really
he
a
real?
psychic.
AI before AI.
He is still in this room with us tonight. No.
He might
but
be.
Yeah. So,
Unfortunately, he is not with us any longer.
know,
He
he's not
passed
with
in
us.
2007.
Yeah.
So, we will touch a little bit on that later. He did have like a residency on the Queen Mary, and I think that's where they found him, because he used to do tours. But he would not like the way that you do tours today. It was more like he would sit down and give like a talk to people, and then they would go on the tour.
Did they know that he was the one giving the tour before they got on, or did they just get on and there's psychic Peter James doing the Queen Mary tour?
I'm not sure. It was really hard to nail down a lot of information.
Can you imagine in the 90s getting on the Queen Mary and not expecting Peter James? And there he is.
Yeah, I would have loved to have met him. I'm sure he seemed like a really good guy. But they say don't meet your heroes. But yeah, I mean, outside of like sightings, I had no exposure to Peter James. I'd never heard the name. But I do want to say a little sidebar about Alcatraz, like we talked about last week. I was a fan of Alcatraz. I did a bunch of like research stuff independently. I had access to a couple libraries where I lived at near Detroit. Some of the things that he talked about that he saw and felt, I never read any of those things. I don't know where he was living at the time. I'm sure somewhere near California, but I don't know. I had pretty decent access to the public libraries and such. I mean, even at an early age, I had access to the internet, and I don't remember really coming across anything about Alcatraz that talked anything about what he said that he felt. Now, I knew about the guys that escaped or tried to escape, and I knew about their little makeshift raft and how they were never found. But like, I had no idea about the guards being put into a cell and being shot. You would figure that would be in a book, but it's the books that I had access to did not have it. So, food for thought. Keep that in the back of your mind. Are you ready to get into Act 2?
I'm ready.
All right. Is my scrolling efficient enough for you?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Okay.
I try to be a little preemptive about it. Let's get into it, everybody. Oh, you want to say the words about Act 2?
Act 2, enter sightings.
Oh, hold on. I hit a wrong button. No. You got to say, this is Act 2, everybody. Act 2.
This is Act 2, everybody. Act 2, enter sightings. When Sightings first aired in the early 1990s, it didn't present itself like most paranormal shows of the time. It wasn't built around hosts reacting dramatically or telling ghost stories in the dark. It was structured to feel investigative, closer to a news program than entertainment. Interviews, field footage, expert opinions, and recreations were all packaged in a way that suggested something more grounded. And that distinction matters, because when Peter James was introduced into that format, he wasn't treated like a performer. He wasn't standing on a stage or giving readings to an audience. He was placed directly into active cases, homes where people were already reporting activity, locations tied to specific claims, environments where something was already happening, at least according to the people living there. The premise was simple on paper. Bring in the psychic with little to no prior information. Document everything. Compare what he says to what he's already known, or to what's already known. At least, that's how it was presented. One of the most referenced segments involving Peter James is commonly tied to Season 2, Episode 6 from 1993, though like a lot of syndicated shows from that area, episode numbering can vary depending on how it was aired or archived. In that segment, James is brought into a private residence without a walkthrough. Cameras are already rolling before he fully enters the space. There's no visible moment where someone pulls him aside, no on-camera briefing, no explanation of what's happened there, and almost immediately he starts reacting. He pauses in specific areas of the house. He points out locations that he says feel off. He begins describing a presence. An older woman mentions physical distress, something centered around the chest. The homeowners don't jump in right away. There's a delay. Then you start to see it. Recognition. They begin confirming pieces of what he's saying. And this isn't happening in interviews after the fact. It's happening in real time. That's what gives these segments weight. Because if you're watching this as a viewer, you're not being told what to think before it happens. You're watching reactions unfold as information is being given, and whether those reactions are genuine or not, they feel genuine. But this is also where things get complicated, because television, even in the early 90s, is still television. What you're seeing is filtered, framed, edited. Even if the core moment is real, you're only seeing the version that made it to the air. You don't see the misses. You don't see what didn't line up. You don't see how long it took to get certain responses or what might have been said off camera. And that creates a very specific kind of tension. Because the more convincing the footage feels, the more you have to question how it was constructed. Still, that season 2 segment wasn't an isolated moment. Peter James appeared in multiple investigations on sightings, each following a similar pattern: enter cold, react quickly, provide details, and then allow the people connected to the location to confirm or deny what he said. And across those appearances, a pattern starts to form, not just in what he claims to perceive, but in how consistently the people around him respond. That consistency is either the strongest argument in his favor or the biggest red flag, because now you're not looking at a single moment. You're looking at a series of documented cases, and that's where this moves out of theory and into evidence. So what do you think about Act 2?
I love that you led me into that. Well, I like Act 2 because it does set a realistic groundwork for what we saw. For those of you who are familiar with Sightings, if you didn't go in and watch any of Sightings for your homework from last week, it was framed very, very much like Unsolved Mysteries. I've always described Sightings as a paranormal version of Unsolved Mysteries. It's done the same way. It's got the same disclaimer at the beginning. This is not a news broadcast. Take this information not as fact, but as not an opinion, but evidence-based, and form your own opinions on the matter before making a decision. Unsolved Mysteries was huge back in the day. It was huge, and it made its it lasted twice as long, 3 times as long as Sightings did. But it's true. The way they frame it is, here's an investigation. Here's a house. There's something going on. And next thing you know, the camera shows him walking in, and without anybody talking to him, he goes in and live reacts. Now, I think I have that clip. I think I do.
Okay.
I was able to pull a few clips from Sightings. I'm not sure precisely which order we're looking at here tonight.
I will say, while you're looking that up, one of the things we talked about in Act 2 is that it seemed as though this wasn't, they weren't telling you what to think. But we know with television, and as we continue to talk in Act 2, they don't always just tell you explicitly what to think. It's implicit, right? And
Right.
so the way that it's structured, creates this environment of...
Cheapest viewers stream booth.
Oh my gosh.
no.
Oh my gosh. Every week.
XCFM.
Can I do it?
Everybody boo the bot.
Boo!
Boo.
Boo!
Let's ban somebody, everybody. Let's do this banning action, this sweet banning action. Thanks for boosting my numbers.
Yeah.
For just briefly, I'll take it. We're not going to be purchasing any viewers because we don't care about spending money.
It's not really that we don't care about it. We just can't do it, but we...
We are not going to be spending money, and we are not going to be purchasing viewers because we don't care if we have 1 million viewers or not. We care about getting this information out there. We will not be buying viewers. Let me report this guy because, you know what? Never mind. Monitoring. Oh, they're ban. Oh, yeah, they're ban evasion monitoring. Suspicious user. Yeah. Banned. Boop up. Sorry, friend. Can't stay, but you gotta go.
Okay.
Carry
But
on, please.
Well, I mean, I think I'd wrapped up my thought before we were rudely interrupted by a bot. Boo.
We need a boo sound effect.
I know. But yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think that it's constructed often in a certain way. They know what had the most viewers. They know what the ratings looked like. Because ratings were really all that mattered, to a lot of shows back then. Oh,
I told you it was gonna fall.
it fell.
It
Bum
finally
bum bum.
I'll fix it.
But there's like the green is behind me now, so you could like clip me and put me somewhere.
Yeah, we can green screen you pretty easily. A chip clip? Because I don't want.
N-O-O-O-O.
I don't want-
Stephen.
I don't want to put any staples through the poster, so it's just like held up with a chip clip screwed to the wall.
Do you think it was Peter James that knocked it down?
It very well could have been.
Because he's mad at me.
He's not mad at you. He knocked this poster down in approval of your mustache. Yeah.
Okay, I'll buy it.
I can't hang up. I can't hang this post. This is a poster. It's got a cardboard back on it. It's still sealed in plastic, and I don't want to take it out of the plastic because where it's hanging is actually a window. So there's no way for me to secure it to the window aside from where it's sitting now. I guess I need to put like another sandwich clip on the bottom or something.
Yeah, because that's probably not going to be the last time I run into that.
That's fine. A nice little break. Everybody gets to see my scrawny legs for a few minutes. All right. Evidence. So we have, I put together 3 clips about Peter James. So I've got one where it's like an intro. So they did a special episode of Sightings where they covered psychics, and he was the first one. So I've got a little clip of him talking about his little personal stuff. And then our second clip, I believe, is the one from Act 2. And then we have one more that is just picked out of a different episode. And other than that, we have clips from last week, but we'll probably touch back on those too, just to drive some points home. Everybody watching, you all ready to see some evidence? Are you ready? Because I'm ready. Are you ready? He's ready. Okay.
Do this.
Let's cue up some evidence. Let's do our little intro video first. I gotta make sure.
About 5 years old,
Okay, yeah, that audio's clipping. Or the audio's coming through. Good deal. Let's kill our background music. And let's check out these clips of Peter James, the man, the myth, the legend, the mustache. Peter James. Here we go.
when I was about 5 years old, I discovered that I had so-called childhood imaginary playmates.
For renowned psychic Peter James, his realization of a psychic gift came early.
I was about 8 years old when I realized that these were in fact ghosts and spirits and not real children. They were real to me because they were a real part of my life.
Peter says his ability to see spirits is a seventh sense and one that he was born with. While
Seventh sense? Isn't the sixth sense?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought
So, sight, touch, taste, hearing, and smell. What is his sixth sense? I'm sorry. Sidebar. Sorry, the sidebar. Seventh sense? Really?
Butt
what-
feel.
Buttfield, probably. Yeah, he was probably slaying it back in the day. Really?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. He was definitely He was definitely getting butt feels. He looked like Sam Elliott. Of course, he was killing it in the '90s. Of course. No delusions here. I know. Yeah. All right. Let's press play again. Let's go back a little bit. I want to hear him talk about his seventh sense.
sense and one that he was born with. While other psychics perceive with the mind's eye, Peter claims he can actually see and communicate with another dimension.
Look. Hello? See? Oh, he's angry. Don't be angry with me. Don't play games with me. I'm not afraid of you. It's just like communicating with people that walk the face of the earth in a physical body. Some people have more to say than others, and some are friendly, some are not so friendly.
After hundreds of encounters, Peter claims that he has gained unique insight into the spirit world.
Our nighttime is their daytime. We live in a parallel world of coexistence with ghosts and spirits. They're everywhere. Sally? Is that your name, Sally?
Nowhere has this been more evident than during a series of sightings investigations into the Heartland Ghost, a spirit Peter identifies as Sally.
Sorry, I want to pause there for just a second. This is a really big paranormal case that he was brought into. This is what has been known as the Sally House. It's always been called the Sally House, as far as I know.
We've watched some investigations of the Sally House. And
Yeah,
other shows.
on one of several of the shows that we've watched. Everybody's done an investigation in the Sally House, and because in the 90s this was a really, really active spot, people were getting hurt, like blood being drawn. There was a younger family, and the guy may or may not just been super eager to take his shirt off, but he was getting scratched all the time in weird places. Maybe one of these days, if some of our viewers ask real nice, I will tell my scratch story. But that's, maybe later, or maybe, I don't know. We'll talk about it another time. But yeah, people were being scratched, drawing blood. And this was a very, very hot spot in the 90s. Lots of paranormal investigators were going there, but Peter James was the first psychic to go there. So very big investigation, very popular place.
There's an entity in this room right now. No doubt in my mind.
On this night, Peter claimed to feel, then see, then be attacked by the entity.
Something is burning my face, like right now.
The attack came in the wake of another, fiercer attack on this man. Painful, bleeding scratches were emerging without warning, and Peter felt that the perpetrator was among them.
There's a little girl that's standing right there. Sally? Is that your name, Sally? Hi, Whoa, hello, easy. I think the Heartland Ghost certainly was one of the most extraordinary, because Sally is one of the most aware or cognizant ghosts that I've ever encountered. When I was...
All right. I misspoke. Back then it was called the Heartland Haunting, the Heartland Ghost. I'm sorry. I misspoke. I've had one very tall, very strong beer. But no, back in the day it was called the Heartland Ghost. And if you look up this episode, it is titled the Heartland Ghost. It's not called the Sally House like it is today.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it begs the question, was he the one that named it?
Maybe. I mean, I was actually thinking that when you mentioned that. So maybe.
Maybe. Oh, we have a maybe sound. Maybe. Are you done with the mustache now?
I can't drink my coffee with it.
Okay, fair enough.
I have
Yeah,
the
now you
pieces
know
in my
why I'm
mouth.
doing that all the time. You see? It's so easy to
Ugh.
get mustache hairs in your mouth.
And they're like little felty pieces too, so it's not even like
It's
hair.
extra fuzzy.
I mean, I don't know how I would feel if it was like animal hair or something. Anyway, that would be kind of gross. But
It's probably synthetic. If anything, squirrel hair. Squirrels are clean. Well, let me queue up our next video. I think this is the one that was mentioned in Act 2. Let's check this thing out.
Peter James has been given no information about what's transpired in the Lee home. But as soon as he steps out of the car, Peter senses why we've brought him here.
There's a lot of death around here.
Yeah, see, this is what we were talking about in Act 2. They showed him pulling up. They literally start the interview outside. I mean, clearly he's been outside the whole time. His jacket's on. He pulled up in his sweet Ford Tempo. whatever it is. But no, we're setting groundwork. It could be clever, cinematography, or it could be real. We don't know. That's part of what we're here for tonight. Let's check the rest of this clip. You have a nice mustache on the mic. You can leave it there. That's fine.
There's a lot of activity here.
Inside, Steve keeps his distance as Peter begins his survey.
Who's here? Identify yourself.
Peter is immediately drawn upstairs to the master bedroom.
State-of-the-art digital layout of the house.
That looks like, oh my gosh, it just brings back so many memories of desktop computers in the 90s and playing games on them.
I recently found a woman on Instagram who...
Hell yeah, top tech.
there's a woman on Instagram who's like a mom in the 90s, and it's like all the things that she finds that just amazes her. And it's like kitchen utensils all with a chicken or a rooster on it, and then like a spatula holder with a rooster, and an oven mitt with a rooster on it, and a little porcelain statue of a rooster. We have one of my mom's rooster oven mitts from the 90s.
So for my mom, it was the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Right.
And that's what all of my, like, if I run into someone I went to high school with who came over to my house regularly, that is what they remember. Yeah, the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Now your mom loves that one coffee sign.
And
that's here in Virginia,
loves Willow
isn't it?
Tree.
Yeah.
Angels. But yeah, there's a coffee sign.
That's in Virginia, isn't it?
Maybe, I don't know. I think there's one in Roanoke, but
I think that's where it is. Yeah. Well, let's look at this state-of-the-art top technology and see what we got going on.
During our previous sightings investigation, paranormal researchers identified this bedroom as one of 3 significant areas of haunting activity.
Right here. Ooh, feel it? Something just touched me there. Feel it?
I feel cold.
It's a cold spot.
I also feel it right here.
It's a cold spot. This is a cold spot.
And when Peter begins to feel the pull of an energy vortex, the Lees begin to listen.
But it feels like someone has their arms around my legs right now, and I'm chilled to the bone right now.
Then Peter begins to feel an overpowering presence of something chemical or medicinal in the air. He believes this has a connection to the haunting. It's a psychic impression that catches Steve completely by surprise.
So I want you to remember that. All right. So this is the reason I clipped this one. Excuse me. You wanted good evidence to prove what he was sensing was real. So we're going to watch this, and I want you to see what this gentleman here in the blue shirt, what he says. And there is some history, but it's private history with the homeowners and the previous homeowners, that if they had somebody doing research, it would have taken months and months and months to get this research nailed down, to get a solid reaction out of these homeowners like this. Well, let's check out the rest of this clip.
There's a chemical smell. I smell something old, like...
Did you see her face? Did you see her reaction there? Like she knew he was already onto something. I'll dial it back just a little bit so you can see too.
You get goosebumps?
Air. He believes this has a connection to the haunting. It's a psychic impression that catches Steve completely by surprise.
There's a chemical smell. I smell something old, like...
You get goosebumps?
I get chills.
When Peter feels he's connected with the entity responsible for the haunting, he proposes a name.
I also get a name of Howard.
The Howard one, there's no, I mean, that's so personal between us, it's unreal. There's no possible way on God's earth you could have known that one.
Do you ever feel that Howard is trying to protect you?
Yes, very much so.
Because that's
that
what
just
I feel.
freaked you out, didn't it?
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's why I said
Let's
just
take a
take
break.
the thing.
Let's take a break. That's enough for me.
Very much
He
so.
says, I'm going to
Peter
take a
can't
break.
seem to take a break from the psychic impressions flooding his mind.
Was there anyone around here that was a pharmacist?
That's too much, isn't it?
Yes or no? Yes or no? Tell me.
Howard was very involved in that kind of stuff.
Beth, who is Howard?
I have a little adopted granddaddy here in town that I have guardianship of that we've taken care of for like 10 years now or more. and his name is Howard. And he had a son that we did not know, but that he died in the 60s of a drug overdose, and his best friend's dad was a doctor and into pharmacist work, and they would steal prescriptions.
The son's name is Howard Jr., the Howard that Peter has felt so strongly in the Lee home. Peter returns to the bedroom to try to make contact.
There's that chemical smell again. And you know what? I believe that Howard is with me right now. He's very protective of them. And, but I...
Actually, no, wait, I smell it this time.
Smell it?
Yes, I do smell something.
Smell something?
A burning kind of chemical odor.
Howard is here.
Peter says that Howard has entered through the energy vortex.
Right in here, you're talking.
Right in there?
Yeah.
Peter believes it's a rip in the fabric of time that allows spirits to move from their plane into ours.
They're coming through. Look, right here.
Peter feels that Howard Jr. wants to make contact with the Lees because of their connection to his father. Howard has unfinished business on Earth and feels that the Lees can help him communicate that he did not die of a drug overdose.
We're talking murder.
Yeah. And this is what I really feel why he's here and why he's trying to convey this message to me now.
To make the haunting stop, Peter says the Lees must appease Howard. And in fact, they are finding many suspicious circumstances surrounding Howard's death.
Well, I guess I'm a little bit more open-minded about it now. I mean, there's things that there's no way he could have known. I mean, there's just no way on God's earth he could have known. I guess I have to believe now.
So that's a lot to take in. Let me.
I'm only laughing because of this man. This man who says, "I guess I have to believe now."
Exactly. Yeah, when you're presented with irrefutable evidence. So let me break it down into clear English here. The family is being haunted. They bring in Peter James. They bring up the name Henry Howard. It was Howard.
Howard.
They bring the name Howard. So the family took care of a Howard Sr. Howard Jr. died of what they thought was a drug overdose. Howard Jr. was stealing pharmaceuticals from Howard Sr., who was a pharmacist.
I think it was Howard Jr. and his friend allegedly were stealing pharmaceuticals from his friend's dad, who is a pharmacist.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right. Either way, there's a pharmacy involved. He was able to pick up on the pharmacy thing, not directly tied to the family. He was able to pick up on the name, even though it was a senior. And she said that they have an adopted grandfather. You know what we mean by adopted grandfather?
So my impression was that they had sort of adopted this man, Howard Sr., in the neighborhood and were taking care of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just an older gentleman that they
and they
took
have guardianship over him too.
Right.
So there's no legal thing involved in there.
Right. They were taking care of him. So the son is no longer with them. So the son is protecting them because they are protecting his father. That's what this clip is telling us. And allegedly, according to the show, there was nothing, that's a very personal detail. Like, my mom took care of elderly people for a very, very long time. She still volunteers at some of the old folks' homes down in Arkansas. I couldn't tell you who she talks to, she was like, "Oh, this is Miss Jeanette," and I'll be like, I don't know a Miss Jeanette. And she's like, "Oh, well, I never told you, but this is Miss Jeanette. I took care of her for 15 years. Oh, well, I had no clue. And then next thing you know, you're going to Miss Jeanette's funeral, but that's the way it goes when you're taking care of old folks. But my mom took care of old folks. I never once knew any of the names. And, at the time she was doing that, I lived 10 minutes away. We talked all the time. She came over all the time. I came over to her house all the time. That stuff just didn't come up in conversation. So I feel like there is a precedent here that it's kind of implied. the fact that they took care of somebody, that wouldn't come up in casual conversation. It would take a very targeted conversation, and I think anybody who would be fishing for that information would have caught onto it pretty easily.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you.
All right, let me see if this last clip is what I think it is. Oh. That's supposed to be that bad? Okay, no, we're good. All right, so we've got one more 4.5 minute long clip. This is this is a link to our video on the Polaroid ghost from 2 episodes ago. Is that right?
Yeah, it was 2 episodes ago. We've been like really just Peter Jamesing it up for 3 weeks.
Well, yeah, I've been building it up for a reason. I promise you. Well, this is our last new piece of evidence outside of our videos from last week's Alcatraz. Let's check this thing out, and we'll probably stop a couple times and chat a little bit in between. Oh, I'm sorry. I had the volume turned down. Headphone warning. I turned that up to 125%. Just a heads up.
Contacted Peter James, one of America's foremost psychics. You might remember Peter's astonishing work with sightings during our investigation at Alcatraz. Well, because of his startling communication with apparent spirits inside that haunted prison, we felt Peter could provide important insights into this case. Surprisingly, at first, he was skeptical.
Peter has a long history of exploring and documenting cases of hauntings, apparitions, and spirits that are not easily explained or understood. But he also has been involved in cases he has exposed as obvious fraud.
So this did come up a few times in the investigation. He has been able to debunk some things. 5 or 6 prominent cases in the California area, he was able to debunk them. And when I say that, he would go into places that were like paranormally infested, quote unquote, and he would say, there's nothing here. There's absolutely nothing here. And they'd be like, they would tell the host, oh, there's a Robert here. And he'd be like, I'm getting like a Sheila. And then come to find out it's like the neighbor had a daughter that died or somebody like that. A lot of stuff like that. So he was able to debunk a lot of these earlier cases. So he wasn't just a guy going in proving that cases were real and there was psychic phenomena happening. He was also debunking, which is a green flag.
Yeah, that's definitely a green flag.
Of my years of delving into the paranormal world, I have never seen an entity present itself in that fashion. But I will say that all things are possible, and perhaps this is something new that I have never encountered.
Peter James works by reading the vibrations he claims to feel when he is in the position.
Yes, precisely. Eliminate the competition.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was gonna wait until to see if I could fit this in again, and you made it, like, we brought it back. Thank you. Can you imagine if he walked in to some reading that was like a psychic reading and just like trolled the person who was up there who was claiming to be a psychic? Just no way. No, that's not what's happening at all. No,
there's no Jan here. There's a Peter, but there's no Jan.
Right. They're telling me that you're full of it.
Yeah, they're literally telling me Jan is fake.
Presence of spirits.
I feel that this area here is within the bedroom is a hot spot, or perhaps this is where the individual died in this particular area, because this is where I feel it strongest.
Not only did he feel a presence, but within minutes, Peter said he was receiving several names telepathically.
I received the name of Gilbert. I get, there is a John, there is a Stephen or Stephen, there is a Robert, but two most prevalent names, I say three, is Ramon, or Raymond in the bedroom, and Evelyn, who is here, and Amelia is throughout. And I am getting an essence of all three of those names vibrationally.
John Huckert and John Matkowski had already researched the names.
Let me do a sidebar. So many years ago, many years ago, I was on this kick where I wanted to learn to read body language. I bought a bunch of books. You know what time I'm thinking about. And one of the books I read was written by the person for the FBI who reads body language. It's literally called What Everybody Is Saying, but it's every space body is saying. And it's learning to pick up on subtleties and little subconscious things that your body does when you're talking. And one of the big things is when you're trying to make up something, you look down and to the left, because that is a subconscious signal that you have no control over it. It just happens. And down and to the left means you're accessing the creative part of your brain. But up and to the right means you're accessing physical sensation or recalling like something you've felt before. So I want to say this last little bit here, this last few seconds, the entire time he was saying names, every single time he would recall a name, he was looking up and to the right. His eyes would go back and forth, then up and to the right, back and forth, up and to the right. 3 times in a row, he called 3 names, and each time he went back and forth and up and to the right, which means he's going off of physical sensation as opposed to something he remembered or he's trying to create. Food for thought. I'm just throwing it out there. I've read a lot of books. Despite what you think, how little I read today, I've read a lot of books about body language. It was very important to me for some obscure reason, but I'm getting good signals from this body language that he uses. Admittedly, some of the hand waving.
But wait, is he looking down and to the left now? What is happening? What's he about to say? I'm on the edge of my seat.
We're gonna see.
Okay.
He's about to say, no, it wouldn't be that obvious, but no, he's giving off positive signals that if he were hooked to a lie detector test, he would probably be shown that he was telling the truth. That's what I'm getting at. Don't you laugh. Don't you crush my dreams. Let's watch the rest of this clip.
Of the home's previous owners. Although they had not shared this information with Peter James, he had correctly named several people on their list.
Now, this is a list of the people who have owned the house since all the way back to 1848 when there wasn't even a house here. And going over the list, we see in 1911 and 1912, 3 women lived here. One of them was named Amelia. In 1941, someone named Robert was here. In 66, someone named Gilbert owned this property.
So to pull that information, you would have to go and pull public records back to the 1840s. This is a green flag for me.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
super deep dive. Like you worked for journalism before. Mm-hmm. You know what it's like to do research.
Yeah. And although I will say that, like, I don't know how popular Gilbert was, but Robert and Amelia were pretty popular names for that. Like, you know, the older names like that. But I don't know.
Don't you poo-poo on me?
I know. I'm not poo-pooing on you. I'm not.
Let's check this out.
Having successfully identified 3 potential spirits inside the house, Peter found what he called a spiritual vortex, a kind of doorway through which spirits might be entering the house.
I feel a very strong vibration, like something is definitely coming up from the floor and wants to come up to the ceiling. And I got that tingling sensation.
I want to sidebar one more time.
You better lock that spiritual vortex when you lock our door tonight.
Okay, don't get me started on vortexes. I've seen one. Well, not seen one with my eyes, but I felt one. Micro shaking. This is another thing. So think about, this is your favorite subject, little old men. Little old men, when they get to talking about something that was profound to them, something that was like earth-shattering. So you see a lot of like World War II vets, when they get to talking about World War II and some of the things they saw, they do this micro shake. It was like little tiny nods. I don't know if you could see it on the camera or not, but little tiny nods in quick succession going down. That is a reaction to something very powerfully emotional that they went through. So if we're taking everything that Peter James is saying is true, he's feeling the emotions that he's dealing with from these entities. These micro shakes that he was doing, I'm going to go back so you can see it. This is a green flag, a huge green flag, because people do not fake this, because it takes so much effort to do a micro shake. It's just, you'd have to see like a video of like a guy talking about World War II, because it shakes you to your core. It rattles you your foundation. Seeing people die and blown apart will affect you for the rest of your life. And this is what I feel like this is what he's channeling, is that emotion, the strong emotion of somebody dying, but still being there. And they're impressing his emotion on them. I'm going to roll this back just a little bit so you can see these little tiny micro shakes that he did. Yeah, this scene right here. You'll see. Here we go. Enough of my rabble. We'll finish this clip now.
On this property.
Having successfully identified 3 potential spirits inside the house, Peter found what he called a spiritual vortex,
right here. Watch
a
the
kind
zoom
of
in.
doorway through which spirits might be entering the house.
I feel
right here,
a very strong vibration, like something is definitely coming up from the floor and wants to come up to the ceiling. And I got that tingling sensation right now. And it's also very cold here. It's almost like one would stand on a foot massager and feel the energy coming in from your feet, through your feet, from the floor.
Shaking?
I'm feeling that vibrational feeling, like something's coming. And if you look at my legs, they're actually trembling, and it feels like something is coming from below, and it's going through my entire body.
Don't you laugh.
But he's drawing attention to it. To me, that's like kind of a red flag, because, like, you know, you're saying, oh, look at me shaking. Let me just...
I can shake my legs and not shake my face. Come on, worlds, back me up here. Oh, jeez. Let's finish this clip.
Polaroid pictures of Peter James standing in the vortex also contain...
So you remember this from a couple weeks ago. Yeah, this is that same house.
Sorry, man.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This picture alone has brought in so many comments in the last few weeks. We got really lucky that YouTube Shorts decided this was our thumbnail for one of our shorts. And we've got so many reactions to this. But this is the house of the Polaroid ghost. Polaroid Idolia? Yeah, this is the same house.
Strange images.
Feels like something could literally come from below and come through the floor. And it feels like something is beginning to surface. So whatever is on the Polaroids, it is their way of saying, pay attention, this is how we're communicating with you, but they can't quite get it in.
Did you hear your speech check going off?
Yeah, I did.
Hold on, we'll finish this clip and we'll look at it.
into words.
Peter James felt strong, unsettling psychic vibrations during his entire stay in the house, and the pictures taken of him did seem to show evidence of the ghostwriting phenomenon.
My experience here today clearly is telling me to convey to you that your probing here should be ongoing.
During his investigation, Peter James felt that the physical body of the ghostwriter could be buried on the property. In a bizarre quest for an explanation to the ghostwriting phenomenon, John Huckert and John Matkowski are now digging up their property in search of human remains.
Digging up their property in search
Digging
of
up the
human
property.
remains.
Jeez, could you imagine?
No, I cannot.
Root Vegetable says, you have befriended an alien. Men in Black are coming to steal it. You have seconds. The alien begins sliding up your wiener hole to hide. Do you allow it? You have no clothes in this scenario. Very interesting comment. I'm going to think about that while I run to the bathroom, because I really got to go to the bathroom. I've got to go.
Okay, all right.
All right, we'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. We've got a couple little... Less like errors and more like impossibilities. The most infamous is Shazam. Many people remember the 1990s movie starring Sinbad as a genie. They remember the title, the VHS box, the tone, the fact that it existed alongside Kazam, starring Shaquille O'Neal, but Shazam was never made. Sinbad has repeatedly denied it. There's no record, no trailer, no listing, no production stills, nothing, and yet the memory persists across generations of people who didn't know each other, didn't influence each other, and discovered the absence independently. For many, learning this feels wrong. Not surprising, but wrong, as if someone changed the script after the fact. And that pattern keeps repeating. Visual memory, something people trust dearly, becomes the next battleground. Consider the Fruit of the Loom logo. A pile of fruit, apples, grapes, leaves, behind it a brown wicker cornucopia. For many people, this wasn't just a logo, it was the first place they learned what a cornucopia was. They remember asking parents about it. They remembered associating it with Thanksgiving imagery. But no official Fruit of the Loom logo has ever included a cornucopia. Trademark filings, historical ads, vintage clothing tags, every version lacks it. The fruit floats alone. For those affected, this feels less like misremembering and more like erasure. Something familiar is missing, but the absence itself becomes unsettling. I see this every single day. This is the book that if you're really scared about a zombie apocalypse, go and get this book. It will teach you everything you need to know. It is literally called The Zombie Survival Guide, Complete Protection from the Living Dead. This is an actual survival guide. But the more I read it, the more I was sucked in. I see this every single day. It is from the cover of The Zombie Survival Guide. I am a diehard fan. This is the best book for prevention against zombie apocalypse. If you haven't read it, go and read it. Blades don't need to be reloaded. Move upstairs, barricade, lock, stay silent, stay dark. Now you know how to survive the zombie apocalypse. But the image had it was obviously a pterodactyl, but it was laying on the ground in front of the men, and they were posted up like they shot it. How do you spell pterodactyl? P-T... One witness, a mother of two, described a man who visited her early one morning wearing a black suit and driving an older model car that looked brand new. He asked about her sighting of a strange flying creature near her home. She answered cautiously, but the man seemed more interested in her children than in the creature itself, which is a red flag. When she asked him who he worked for, he smiled stiffly and said he was a consultant. When her husband returned home, the man left quickly, walking in a straight, rigid line back to his car without turning his head, and the couple never saw him again. Keel documented dozens of cases like this, So there's a Bigfoot. It's up here in Massachusetts in the United States. So this is a Bridgewater Triangle. This is very near Providence, very near where the foundation of the United States came from. All right, so we're going to get down to the official involvement from the 1970s, where the police start getting involved in. All right, so Root Festival. I was muted the whole time. Geez, sorry. Yeah, Root Vegetable, I'm sorry. I'm not sure what you're getting at with your comment there. A little weird of a scenario.
Slobbing on that Miltank's milk shaft for a post-Geodude suck sesh refresh.
Cool.
Well,
I blow my loads into Pokeballs
I
to
think
save them for my birthday.
I think maybe this
I
person
won't
can be
spill my
banned.
sweet seed until then.
Awesome.
I think this person can be
Yeah,
banned.
we have to do something about that.
Definitely.
Was that on his YouTube end?
Yes, it was. That was
Yeah.
YouTube. We'll just kill YouTube. Sorry, friend. Sorry, friends.
Sometimes you get some weird
Yeah.
folks out there.
Yeah, everybody's got to have their 2 minutes of fame. Sorry. You won't be hearing from that guy anymore. Sorry, friends. So we were getting close to Act 3. Do we need to recap what we saw? Do you want to breeze through? We have 4 videos from last week. Do you want to just look at 1 or 2 of them?
Yeah, let's look at 1 or 2 videos.
All right, let's look at 1 or 2.
The inmates fled to a utility corridor in C block.
Oh, we jumped the gun a little bit. Let's go to this one first.
Like a psychic bloodhound, Peter was drawn to out-of-the-way places around the island.
I know little or nothing about Alcatraz other than what I learned here during the past 2 days.
This shot of
that
him
I've
being
been here.
obviously pulled on like a
And
rolling office chair.
My feelings are strongly that there is an energy here unlike any other that I've ever experienced.
Peter claimed to have little knowledge of the history of Alcatraz. He said he let the spirits guide him, and they led him here to an area known as the Citadel.
This particular one, I feel there was a loss of life here. And this man was a sergeant. And this is an American life that was lost in this particular cell.
So I like this clip because he gets so emotional in it. And you don't really hear it in a lot of his other clips, but he gets so emotional.
I just never can get past the fact that his last name is spray painted on this wall. In this
Right.
scene.
But I really don't think that they're going to spray paint his name on the ceiling just so he would come in and react.
Just saying, it's a little funny.
And I feel badly, I feel beaten. I don't feel that I lost life from gunfire. I lost life because of neglect. I was neglected. I am responding to, there's a definite sense here that I'm hungry, I'm thirsty. There could not be any crime in the world worth the punishment that I feel this entity endured.
Peter had correctly identified the dank dungeon where military prisoners were kept. The specific ghost images he felt were later substantiated by our experts.
I'm feeling an American here. I'm feeling an American serviceman right here.
Men were kept chained down there, sometimes chained through iron rings to the floor, other times, as we understand, chained with iron rings in the ceiling.
Something is like going through my stomach. It feels like something metal, and my legs are in chains as well. I'm feeling that if I stay here much longer, that I'll die.
All right. So those are one of our clips from last week. What we're doing is we're trying to kind of... Oops. I pressed the wrong button. I feel like... Doesn't anybody notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. These clips are evidence about his sincerity. All right? Especially that last one, because there's so much emotion in his voice when he talks about it. We do have a couple others. We got 3 others from that same episode, but we're gonna skip over those because we watched it last week.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. I sneezed, but I muted.
Did you get a nose hair in your mustache hair?
No, but I did yank a couple out when I was in the bathroom. So yeah, we've seen a lot of evidence about Peter James. So are you ready to move forward with Act 3? All right, let's move forward with Act 3. All right, so this is Act 3, everybody. The evidence. Act 3. Act 3. So when it comes to Peter James, everything comes down to what was captured on camera during his appearance on Sightings. James took a ghost tour aboard the Queen Mary where he said he encountered a ghost. He began conducting regular tours in 91 and featured on... Wait. I don't know why I put that in there. We'll come back to that. So when it comes to Peter James, his appearance on Sightings. Not stories, not secondhand accounts, but what actually made it to the broadcast. Because for once, this isn't someone claiming something happened behind closed doors. This is footage. And one of the first cases is in Season 2, Episode 6. And this is one of the most referenced segments involving James, and for a good reason. He was brought into a home with no on-camera briefing. The camera was already rolling as he steps inside. No visible introduction beyond basic entry. No explanation of the case, no walkthrough, and within seconds he stops. He turns towards a specific part of the house, and down a hallway he says there's a female presence, older. He begins describing discomfort, pressure in the chest. He gestures to the area like he's tracking something moving through the space. And at this point, nobody has confirmed anything. There's a pause. Then the homeowner reacts. They begin to confirm that a woman, an older relative, had died in the home, reportedly from a heart-related issue. The connection isn't vague, it lines up directly with what he described. Now here's where this gets important. The timing. He says it first, and then the homeowners confirm it. And that sequence is what gives the moment weight. Because if this were reversed, if they had told him first and he repeated it, it wouldn't matter. But in the version presented, the information appears to originate from him. And that's the pattern you're going to see again and again. Case 2, Season 3 of Sightings. In another segment, James again is placed in a location tied to reported activity. This time, instead of focusing on a person, he begins describing the environment himself. He identifies specific areas of the property that he claims are connected to past events, points out a room and says something significant happened there. He mentions emotional intensity, conflict, distress, something unresolved. Again, no one had confirmed anything yet. And again, after he speaks, the people connected to the property begin to respond. They acknowledge that the room he identified was associated with a past incident. Details aren't always fully spelled out on camera, but their reactions suggest a recognition. And this is where things begin to shift, because now it's not just the type of hit. It's not just there was a person here. Now it's specific areas, specific emotional context, and specific relevance to the case. And he's identifying them without being guided to that area on camera. Case 3. Late season appearances and sightings. This is where the claims become harder to ignore and also harder to verify. In at least one segment, James appears to provide what sounds like a name, not a vague impression, not a general description, something more direct. The show presents this as a moment of validation, implying that the name he's given corresponds to someone connected to the location. But this is also where things get tricky, because unlike other earlier examples, the confirmation isn't always shown as clearly. Sometimes it's implied throughout editing. Sometimes it's reinforced through narration. Sometimes it's cut between reactions and commentary. So while the claim itself is stronger, the way it's presented is less clean. And that matters, because once editing becomes more noticeable, it introduces doubt. Not necessarily about what he said, but about how much of it you're actually seeing. And across these segments, a consistent structure starts to emerge. He enters with no visible briefing. He begins speaking quickly. He provides specific impressions. The people present react in real time, and at least some of those reactions suggest a match. And that pattern repeats, and repetition is powerful, because one correct statement could be luck, two could be coincidence, but when it keeps happening, it reinforces the question. But here's the problem. Even with all of that, there are limits to what this proves, because you're still watching a television show. You don't see what was said before the cameras rolled, what was edited out, how many incorrect statements were made, whether any information was unintentionally given to him beforehand. And maybe most importantly, you don't see the full timeline. A moment that feels instant on screen might have taken much longer in real time. Reactions that feel spontaneous might have been influenced by earlier conversations. And that confirmations, no matter how genuine they seem, are still coming from the same people who had already believed something is happening. So what do you do with this? Because this is where the case splits. On one side, you have direct on-camera statements, real-time reactions, specific details that appear to match. On the other hand, there's editing, lack of control conditions, no independent verifications, and no way to measure what didn't make it to air. So what you're left with isn't proof, and it's not nothing either. It's something in between. Something that looks convincing enough to make you question it, but constructed in a way that prevents you from ever fully confirming it. And that's exactly where this case lives, right in the space between documented evidence and manufactured reality. So I told you we were going to be brutal tonight. I wanted to make sure that we saw both sides of the coin. As much as I want this to be true, we're going to see all the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly what Act 3 was all about.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think it's good that we're continuing to just remind ourselves that this is TV. Like, if this kind of thing came on the air today, if Sightings, they redid Sightings like they redid Unsolved Mysteries, right? It would be even harder to believe something like this, because all someone has to do is, on a car ride on the way to the place, Google the place, and you get all the information that you need, and then you can. So, yeah, I mean, of course, though, in the 90s, it's funny because if we have listeners who are, 15 to 20 years younger than we are, which hopefully we don't have 20 years younger, but 15 years younger, they might not necessarily realize that the 90s, we did have ways to research things. And so, even though we didn't have everything right in the palm of our hands all the time, we did have the ability to do our research. And we talked to people a lot more. Mm-hmm. And so you got a lot more of this kind of hearsay evidence of different stories. I mean, there's so many stories that my grandparents used to tell me about, different places where they grew up, right? That they just passed down for generations and generations. And so what this act kind of does is remind us that off camera, before the moments that we don't see. I mean, yeah,
It was
you might
much
have
easier
him
to suspend disbelief in the old days.
Yeah, it was.
Right. What this does though is that the show gives us this clip of him pulling up to the house, getting out of the car, but it's done in that way because they want you to believe that he just got out of the car. He may have,
right.
but we don't know that for sure. We don't know if this is just the way that they've taped it so they can edit it together that way.
Right.
So it's hard because you want it to be real and it's designed to look real, but we're just not sure.
Yeah, it's the magic of Hollywood. Editing does a lot. And that's a reason I don't edit the podcast, because I want this to feel true and authentic despite people making shitty comments.
Yeah, despite having, hey, but you know what? That means that you've gotten out there enough to have trolls now. So
yeah,
that's
exciting. Fine. I'll take it because your little 2 comments on YouTube boosted me just a little bit. Thank you so much. Come on, be an adult. We're adults here. But no, I get it. I see what you're saying. That, I mean, between editing and, maybe they did tell him some stuff, but on the flip side of that, I still believe that he legitimately has psychic abilities.
I don't think I'm ready to discount it. I don't think I'm ready to say that he does not. I just don't think I'm ready to say that he does.
Just because the option is there that they could have given him information beforehand because he was so popular.
Doesn't mean they did.
Right, yeah. Because he was so popular, there had to have been something in all of his investigations that legitimately happened. Like there had to have been something to be like that turning point to make everybody go, oh shit, maybe he didn't do the investigation. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry about that.
You've had like 3 coffees today.
Big yawn. Yeah, I have not been sleeping good. I hope I sleep much better tonight. But no, this is duality at its purest. We're dealing with something that could go very easily either way. And we've gone through 3 of 6 acts tonight, and we haven't heard all the evidence. But, let's rip through the last 2 acts and let's see where we stand. I'm keeping an open mind at this point. I want to believe that this guy is legitimately psychic. I've seen every single piece of evidence that has been on television, and some of that hasn't. Tonight, while we were, an hour or 2 before I was about to set up, remember I told you I found another video I wanted to show. And it was a video of his talk that he gave before the tour of the Queen Mary. And he's very sincere. And sincerity comes across to me really easily. Because today we don't see it a lot. So when I do see it, it registers on my radar. Some people got gaydar. I don't have gaydar. I didn't know that my best friend was gay for many, many years. So my gaydar is way off. But my sincerity radar is on point, and I can tell when people are sincere. I can tell when people care about what they're doing. And I get the vibe from this guy that he really cares, that he's trying to do the good work. He's trying to fight the good fight. And I think that's important in the investigation.
Yeah. No, I mean, sincerity is important. And honestly, no matter what, if you're like in this situation, if something he's said has helped somebody, then at least that has happened. At least he's helped someone. So yeah. Are we ready to do Act 4?
Yeah. This one's on you, right?
This is on me. You want to see if I can do it correctly?
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Let me fade out. Go ahead.
Act 4, everyone. Act 4, cracks in the story. Da, da, da. Up to this point, everything about Peter James feels convincing, at least on the surface, maybe. You have on-camera reactions, seemingly specific details, and a format that presents itself as investigative rather than theatrical. But once you step back from the footage, the cracks start to show, and they start in the most obvious factor. So, this is still television. Of course, we know that Sightings, was still a produced show. We've talked about segments being edited, narratives shaped, time being compressed, and that the most compelling material made it to the air. You're not watching a raw investigation, you're watching a constructed view of one. And that changes everything. Because if Peter James made 10 statements and only 3 were correct, you're only going to see the 3 that worked. 3 misses disappear, and without seeing the misses, you can't measure accuracy. And then information leakage. This is one of the biggest issues in any psychic investigation. Even if no one intentionally feeds the information, it can still happen. Subtle cues, body language, tone shifts, facial reaction, where someone stands or looks. Even something as simple as walking him through a house, even briefly, could give him enough to build a narrative. Having his name spray painted on a wall. Once he starts talking, people naturally respond. They confirm, they react, they fill in gaps. And without realizing it, they can help him shape the story as it's happening. That's not deception, that's human nature. Leading and interpretation, I guess this is where the name would fall under. Another issue is how vague statements become specific through interpretation. If someone says, "There's a woman here, something wrong with her chest," that could apply to a heart attack, lung issues, anxiety, even metaphorical emotional pain. But once a homeowner connects it to something real, the statement locks in. It becomes accurate, not because it was precise, but because it was interpreted that way. And once that happens on camera, it feels definitive. Editing and timeline distortion. One of the biggest unknowns is timing. On screen, it looks immediate. He walks in, he says something, people react. But what you don't see is how long he was actually there. What was said before or after, how many attempts it took to get a usable moment. A 30-second clip could represent 20 minutes or more. And if that's the case, then what feels like instant accuracy might actually be a process of trial and error. You just never see the errors. Lack of controlled conditions. This is the biggest issue if you are trying to treat this as real evidence. There are no controls, no blind testing, no independent verification, no repeatable conditions. Everything happens in an environment where people already believe something is happening, the setting is emotionally charged, and the outcome is being filmed for a broadcast. That's not a neutral environment. That's the worst possible setting for objective evaluation. Consistency, evidence or illusion. Now here's the part that makes this harder, because even with all these issues, there's still that pattern. He walks in, he speaks quickly, people react, details line up at least some of the time, and it happens more than once. So you're left with a problem. Either he was consistently getting lucky, the show was consistently shaping the narrative, or something real was happening, and none of these options are easy to prove. So by the time you finish going through the footage, you're not left with a clear answer. You're left with tension, because the evidence is just strong enough to pull you in and just flawed enough to push you back out. It never really commits in either direction. And maybe that's the most important part of this entire case, because if it were completely fake, it would fall apart easily, and if it were completely real, you'd expect something more concrete. Instead, it sits right in the middle, convincing but incomplete. What are your thoughts?
There's a reason I gave you that act. because you are the you're the skeptic in this conversation. That was a very skeptical act. There is a lot to take in when it comes to a live production. Well, live for 1990s, quote unquote live. Sure, this Act 4 implies that there is a lot of things that were scripted. However, on the flip side of that coin, we don't have anything to prove that it wasn't scripted. 20 years ago, burden of proof wasn't really a big thing. Oh, we got a bot, but it muted him. Yes. Way to go, Twitch. Yeah, 20 years ago, 25 years, 26 years ago, probably closer to 30 years ago, burden of proof wasn't that big of a thing. They were just producing something to create a television show.
I was going to say 26 years ago would have been 2000. That's how old we are. So it's
don't remind me.
30 years ago is about right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's duality. Again, this word duality keeps coming up. We're dealing with, sure, there's a lack of evidence. There's a lack of controlled environment. But there's also the flip side of that is, what if they were, purists in their investigation? What if they were legitimately going in and recording him as he pulled up? So every argument you can make to say maybe he had some information beforehand could be countered with, well, maybe he legitimately pulled up and they got him pulling up, because you don't see footage of him coming down the driveway from a quarter mile away. You see him right as he pulled up, because if we were in a residential area, like think of our yard. We live on a corner. We're not going to know if somebody's pulling up until they come around the corner. That's right when we're going to start recording to show somebody pulling up. So if Peter James were to pull up to our house tonight to do an investigation,
and his celestial beyond the grave video.
Yes.
Or vehicle, I mean.
We wouldn't know he was here until he come around the corner. So the first chance we would have to record him is as he came around the corner to pull into our driveway, which is right where they started recording. So it can be taken both ways. There's no evidence at this point to prove one way or the other. I think at this point we're dealing with vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But that's all we can be dealing with, because there's no way to accurately measure this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But it could be taken both ways, though.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he could legitimately be just pulling up and cold calling the place, or he could be pulling up with information. I don't know.
What's up, ghosties?
Say again.
Hey, what's up, ghosties?
What's up, ghosties? Do I have a ghosty sound? Wait. No, I actually get rid of the theremin one.
Okay, so we talked a lot about our favorite cowboy.
Yes.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
So what if Peter James is just like the cowboy of the ghost world? You know how calm he is going in there, and he's just like, hey, don't you be mad at me. Don't you be angry at me.
Yeah, he loves doing the finger shake. Don't you get angry at me. Don't you try to scare me.
I'm Peter James.
Peter James.
Get his little hat.
Give him a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to put a nail on it, because there's a piece of me that thinks maybe he is making this up. Maybe he's being theatrical, but at the same point, I keep saying it, flip side of the coin, if you do something every day, like I work on boats, a customer comes in and says, oh, I need this fixed and I need this put on here and this put on here. It's going to be a big deal. But when I see it, I do it every day. So it's not a big deal to me. Same thing with Peter James. Everybody says, oh, there's a ghost in here. I need you to figure it out. He's going to react in the way it's comfortable for him. He's used to it. So he's going to be a little more flamboyant, just like when I'm at the shop. Somebody says, I need a swim letter put on the back of a boat. Yeah, we can do that. Sure, no big deal. But let's put this thing together right quick. Yeah, this looks like it would work. But look here. this isn't going to work because blah, 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 this, your transom's not thick enough, all those other things.
Don't you be mad at me.
Don't you get angry. Don't you get angry with me, which we do have to do sometimes. Boat ownership is not for the faint of heart. But no, I can see what he's getting at. You know, if I was a psychic and every day or two I was dealing with a customer, for the lack of a better word, that wanted some irrefutable proof, you know, I would schmoo a little bit to make it believable, but I would still stay within the confines of what I believe is true. And I wouldn't, when it comes to a customer coming getting a new boat, I'm not going to lie to them about the boat, but I might schmoo a little bit to make them feel more comfortable. Because when it comes to a boat, it comes down to experience. And
I heard you schmoo about your chair earlier.
You schmooed about my chair.
I heard you schmoo about it.
My chair is, yeah, if y'all haven't noticed, I have this wonderful chair. This is actually out of a very expensive boat, and they warranted it because it was rusting. You can't put a rusting chair in a boat. So they said throw it away. Well, I pulled it out of the trash, brought it home, and now it's my new amazing chair, and it's so comfortable. You have no idea how comfortable this is. Oh my gosh, it's so comfortable.
It's designed to hug you when you're moving.
It is
quickly,
designed
and
to hug you.
This is the schmoo from
You see how little I've moved tonight?
Yeah, it's hugging you.
It's hugging me. I will say it's hugging me so well, like my back is sweating. I don't know how people like sit in this chair in a boat all day long in the sun.
Yeah.
Because I'm sweating just sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
There's a reason there's a hoodie on the back of that chair.
Yeah, I inherited the old chair.
Fine, it's a good chair.
It's a good chair.
It's a very good chair.
Yeah. We did call it Old Crusty before the show started. Anyway.
Any hoots. Well, let's get into Act 5 and let's wrap this thing up. Let's put a nail in this and let's come down to a conclusion of what we think about Peter James. Are you ready? 'Cause I'm ready. Do you remember that? What's that from? Go ahead.
I don't remember what it's from.
There's a secret handshake between two cartoon characters. Remember? They would go. No, they wouldn't grab. They would just go. And it would make a little wobble sound. 10 points to anybody in chat who know what that's from. 10 points right off the bat. I will pop any redemption. I will pop the most expensive redemption in chat if you could tell me what that's from. Two people go the fist bump and they go to wiggle their thumbs together. 10 points. Anybody. It's an American cartoon on Nickelodeon.
I think maybe I remember. I'm not sure. You got somebody in YouTube.
No, YouTube's turned off.
Somebody over there said.
Yeah, there's. No, that was Worlds of Confusion. Their chat from earlier. Bill and Ted. Oh no! Oh, hey, yeah. Sorry, YouTube. Yeah, I mean, Bill and Ted, sure. Yeah, that was a thing, but we're talking about the cartoon version. Gumball, close.
We love Gumball, though.
You're watching. All right, cool. Good catch. Yeah, I usually don't look at YouTube because nobody's watching. Are you?
But we're glad you're here.
Yes, thank you so much.
We're glad you're here and not that other
yeah,
person
we had a really shitty dude in chat on YouTube earlier. But no, are you ready? Do you want to know what it is? It was the secret handshake between Arnold and Gerald and Hey Arnold.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You remember now?
Yeah, I remember.
They would do it was like a fist bump, but then they go, and then the sound effects would overlay in the cartoon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No, close. Yeah, Bill and Ted. That was very close.
It would have been really awesome if it was Adventure Time and I was sitting here going, wait, what?
Wearing an Adventure Time t-shirt.
But they probably do something very close to that, don't they? Don't Finn and Jake do something very close to that?
Yeah, they had oh geez, what was Finn and Jake's?
I don't know. My old lady brain doesn't remember half this stuff anymore.
We're so off. We have all of these shows on rotation pretty regularly, but
we like to leave some of them on for our dog during the day.
Yeah, I think our dog is currently watching all of the seasons of Community right now. But no, I can't remember what Finn and Jake's secret handshake was. No, their thing was a thumb, wasn't it? Hold on.
No, they had that one handshake where they like high-fived, and it was, remember they did the super high five? Do you remember that episode where they did the super high five?
I do. I'm looking it up right now. Long time. I am a long time streamer. I've been streaming for almost 10 years now.
I'm brand new with him, and I'm trying not to ruin it.
She's always just been in the room next to us, or next to me while I was podcasting and streaming. But just recently brought her in because it seems silly for her to just sit there and listen and not be part of the conversation. So we brought her into the podcast. We did have another host about a year and a half ago, but he's dealing with some personal stuff. He pulled away for a little while. He will be back probably next season. We'll see what happens. But Google says Finn and Jake's primary iconic handshake, a fist bump, involves them joining hands followed by a magical stretching motion where Jake often transforms into a golden swirling shape to lift or surround Finn. Yeah, it does feel like Bill and Ted, right? Oh, the animated series. Yeah, I never saw the animated series. Okay, so now I gotta pull it up. Hey Arnold and Gerald handshake. Oh, my typing is terrible. Oh, look.
All new monthly family fun passes have arrived at
Oh, hold on. We're gonna mute this right quick.
Chuck E. Cheese. Score unlimited visits for just $7.99 a month and party for less. If you really don't believe in super.
All right, we're gonna switch scenes right quick.
Do we need to mute it?
No, we should be fine. It's so short. It's so short.
Dishes. Then why don't you break a whole bunch of them right now on Friday the 13th? What about it, you wussy? Put up or shut up.
Okay, I'll do it. You with me, Gerald? Gerald? I'm thinking Gerald. I mean, I'm with you all the way. Come on, lucky rabbits. Come on.
Oh, they're doing it. Terrible.
Oh, there it is. There it was. Did you see it? Did you see it? All right. I'm going to go back, but I'm going to mute it. I'm going to go back. That was it. That was the secret handshake. Woo, 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 woo. Yeah, you heard the sound effect and everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a straight 90s kid. I really am. I grew up on a Hey Arnold.
Are you ready for Act 5?
The reason I about the streaming is because me and my buddy, his idea, we started a React channel that's seeming like it can go wherever. Yeah, it's. So how new are you to streaming? Because I could wax about streaming for a while now. Don't give up. Let's just say that streaming is a lot like podcasting because they say you're not going to get anywhere within the first 4 or 5 seasons. Probably like the first.
Like that. That's what you said the other day.
Like the first 100 episodes, whatever you do, whatever you're doing, streaming, podcasting, whatever you do, don't try to fit into a niche. Just do your own thing. And people will legitimately gravitate to you. And this was the hardest thing for me to grab a hold of when I started streaming. I did gaming streaming for 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, painting, streaming too.
Yeah, I was an artist for a while. I painted my art. It went on for, I mean, altogether like 7 years, 8 years, and then out of the blue, I just decided to do podcasting because I wanted to talk about paranormal, which is what we do today. And there's no podcasters talking live. A lot of people are pre-recording their episodes and editing to death and adding in sound effects and doing everything else, whereas everything here is done live. I started out as a streamer, so I knew being a gaming streamer wasn't going to work because the market is super saturated. You're about to see the whole business side of me that you've never seen before. The gaming streaming platform is super saturated. Everybody's a gaming streamer, unless you're stacked with big boobs in a thong bikini sitting in a hot tub trying to get people to watch your stream by saying ooh woo and pointing your fingers together. If you don't have that, you're probably not going to get 1 million subscribers. It's okay. The point is to get out there and just do what you love doing. And that's important because when you get out there and put yourself out there and do what you love doing, you bring in the people that are attracted to what you enjoy doing naturally. And those type of people are the people that are going to stick with you. I've been podcasting for almost 3 years now. This is we're the second week of season 3. I maybe got 5 or 6 people that are here every week at the most. And that's okay. I do the podcasting because I love doing it. I get a chance to sit down for 2 to 3 hours every week with my wife, and we talk about paranormal shit. I love paranormal shit. I've been into paranormal shit since I was a kid, since I was like 6. And this is the dream. Being a gaming streamer wasn't the dream. I wanted to stream because I wanted to be a streamer. I thought maybe if I could stream gaming that somebody would be like, hey, you're really good at Call of Duty. Whatever. I'm a basic Call of Duty player. But when I'm talking about the paranormal, I'm passionate about it. I know everything about it. I can say what needs to be said and I can feel confident in it. And it's about confidence. It's about being yourself and being genuine. This is the best advice I can give you. If you want to be a streamer, be yourself, be genuine, don't give up. A lot of people don't make it to their first 100 streams. Don't be scared to be yourself. Don't be scared to put yourself out there and unabashedly be yourself. That was the hardest thing for me to grasp because there are tons and tons and tons of people out there that are trying to be the next big streamer, but they're inauthentic. All right, Fallen? You hear me? Don't be inauthentic. Be yourself. That's the important part. That's the important part. Nobody explained it to me. I streamed for years. And a lot of people were just a community, connected to community that helped me get to affiliate. I didn't make any money. I didn't enjoy it. It was more like a job. But when it comes to this, the podcasting, this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm meant to do. To sit for a few hours a week and talk about the paranormal. Sure, there are weeks where nobody's in here and it's just us talking. That's okay. Because I enjoy it. This is what I'm all about. If you're all about reaction videos, awesome. Find the reaction videos that cater to you. I promise you, given enough time, the community will find you and you will get a foothold. I promise you. I promise you.
And thank you for saying you liked our style. That was
Yeah,
really sweet. That
it's
was
a,
really sweet.
this is a really weird style.
I treat this as date night, which is really,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, because we get to actually sit here and talk to each other. Because typically we both work during the week and we both work some on weekends too. So for us to be able to sit down and do something like this is really good.
Well, look, Fallen, I'll give you a follow after the show's off the air. I'll give you a follow. You know, I'll comment on your videos. I'm going to give you a pro tip. Pro tip, because I've been doing this for almost 10 years now. The live videos are great. Not a lot of people come around for the live videos. As soon as you're done streaming live, download the video. I am not an affiliate but Opus Clip, but I'm going to say I use Opus Clip all the time. I have like 3 free accounts. And I upload my video, get as many free videos as I can from Opus Clip. All right? Use all those videos from Opus Clip. It's going to use AI to make you shorts, make you reels, upload them to YouTube, upload them to Instagram. That's the best way to get traction. We have tripled our numbers in the last 6 months because of Opus Clip. I don't have time to go through and make clips of all of the videos. I use Opus Clip. It makes reels and shorts out of the podcast. And I use that and I directly upload to YouTube. If you look on the YouTube channel, I've got probably more shorts on YouTube than anything else. I've probably got 600 or 700 shorts. I'll get 40 or 50 from Opus Clip, and that is what brings people to the channel. The short brings people to the channel, and once they're at the channel, they see the long form video, and if they like the long form video, you got them. We get like 40 or 50 followers a week just from YouTube shorts. Don't be scared to use something like Opus Clip. There's a free version where you can get like 60 minutes of video processing. Wonderful tool. Don't be scared to use it. The email is down here. If you really want some insight, or wait, where's it at? It's over here. Yeah, the email's down here. If you want to email us or email me, I'll be glad to share some insight. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. Take notes. I'm glad to answer any question you got. I'm glad you're here. All right. Thanks for being here tonight. We are enough of my rambling. Sorry. I'm very passionate about streaming. Can you tell? I'm glad you're here, Fallen. Yeah, we're here every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's another thing. One more quick sidebar before we get into Act 5. Set a schedule. Stick to that schedule. People like consistency. We stream every week at the same date, same time. Every week. I've done my streaming while I was sick. Several times. It sucks, but I like to be consistent. My goal is to hit 52 episodes a year.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very passionate about streaming.
We get
and
good vibes from you guys too.
yeah, it's. I'll check. Drop a link in chat, or if it won't let you drop a link, email it to me. I'll check you out after we get off stream tonight. But yeah, don't be scared of using multiple platforms. I'm streaming on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. Be yourself. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Be yourself. Don't be scared to be yourself, man. Do you have any advice for Fallen?
I think all of that is very good advice, and I think just have fun, because life is too short to take things super seriously.
Have fun. That's the big one.
We have a lot of fun here, and then people are very kind and put up with us having fun.
Yeah, people put up with my ridiculous sounds. my crazy subjects for the week. You can't be scared to do what you want to do, even if somebody else thinks it's wrong. That's okay. Where do you think you're going? Oh, you're putting the mustache on the alien. That's for you, Worlds of Confusion. But yeah, Fallen, if you've got questions, I am like pro level with hardware. I will help you get set up if you need help setting up for good streaming setup. I know everything about hardware. I know everything about software. I do all of this myself. Feel free to message me. If you want to email me, that's fine. I don't really care. You know, I'll help you out as much as I can. But welcome to Beyond the Shadows podcast. Sorry for the sidebar there. I get off on a tangent. When I see that somebody's legitimately asking for help, I'm always going to offer help. Because I had one person helping me when I started streaming. Back before you met me, I started streaming, and I was in my apartment using a PS4, the PlayStation camera, and a headset with an integrated microphone. That's where I started. And it went from that to probably close to like, oh geez, we're looking at like $1,000 worth of hardware right here within arm's reach. Yeah, you know, I am not scared to help somebody if it needs help. No problem at all. If you got questions, feel free to email me. The email's down here. Email me. You got me. I see that you're passionate about it. I appreciate you being polite in chat. That makes a big difference. But look, we are recording a live podcast, and we do need to move forward. Feel free to email me. I'm very responsive. I'm quick to help somebody out that needs help. So if you need help, you need advice, whatever, I got you.
Yep.
Are you ready for Act 5? We're close to wrapping this thing up. We're pushing 2.5 hours already. Jeez. All right, Fallen. Well, stick around with us for the last little bit here. We're in Act 5 of this investigation of Peter James, the psychic. The American psychic that does paranormal investigations. I'm feeling good about this one so far. I really am.
I'm not surprised.
You're not what?
I'm not surprised.
Oh, okay. You know I love Peter James. Well, let's get into it, everybody. This is Act 5. So was it real? This is Act 5, everybody. Act 5. So by the time you get to the end of Peter James's appearances on Sightings, you're not left with a clean answer. You're left with a conflict. Because on one side, the case is compelling. You have on-camera investigations, real-time reactions, specific statements that appear to match real events, and a format, at least visually, presents itself as transparent. There's no question that what you're watching feels real. And that matters. Because most paranormal investigators and paranormal claims fall apart the moment you try to document them. But this one doesn't. At least not immediately. But on the other side, everything that makes it compelling is also what makes it questionable. Because you're only seeing what made it to air. You don't know what was cut. You don't know how information may have been picked up along the way, and you don't have controlled environment to test any of it. There's no baseline, no way to measure accuracy, no way to separate what worked and what didn't. And that creates a very specific kind of case, one that isn't strong enough to prove anything, but isn't weak enough to dismiss. If Peter James was legitimate, if what he was doing was real, then what you're seeing on Sightings might be one of the closest things we have to documented psychic phenomena captured on camera. But if he wasn't, then what you're looking at is something just as interesting. A perfect example of how easily perception can be shaped, how quickly people will connect the dots, and how powerful a well-constructed narrative can be, especially when it's presented as reality. But here's the truth. You don't need everything to be fake for the conclusion to be misleading. You just need selective editing, natural human reactions, and a few moments that line up just well enough to carry the rest. And suddenly, something uncertain starts to feel undeniable. So where does this leave the case? Right where it started. In that space between belief and doubt. Where the evidence is just convincing enough to keep you watching, but never clear enough to let you stop questioning. And maybe that's the real takeaway. Not whether Peter James was right, but whether what you saw, whether was ever meant to be tested in the first place. Yeah, my editing got a little messy here because I wanted to add a little thing at the end. So we've come to the end.
We've come to the end.
We've come to the end. Are you ready? Are you ready to...
My answer is I still don't know.
You still don't know?
Yeah.
That's okay.
I don't know. I'm undecided. I want him to be... I want him to be psychic. I want him to have been psychic. I want him to be, like, trolling other psychics who are actually psychics now that he's in the great beyond. I want him to be doing that as an afterlife job.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things I want for Peter James, but I just don't know.
Well, let me try to convince you before we make up our minds. So we've seen a lot of video evidence tonight. Sure, it's from mainstream media. It's what you saw on, I think it was Fox. No, it was Sci-Fi Channel. But it was re-aired on Fox in the early 90s, or the mid-90s. Because we didn't have cable growing up. We had Fox.
We had 3 channels.
Yeah. It was, growing up, it was X-Files, and then news, and then right after the news, it would rebroadcast Sightings. But it was like older episodes, but I loved it. It was so good. However, we do have to take into consideration that this was a syndicated TV show. We are dealing with production values. Considering that it was sci-fi. The Sci-Fi Channel, canonically speaking, does not have a history of faking things. Right? Outside of, like, yeah, you can tell you didn't watch Sci-Fi Channel.
I mean, I
did
watch the Sci-Fi Channel, but, you know, I don't know if they don't have a history of faking things.
They don't. They would leave the speculative stuff to the TV shows. Stargate SG-1, Mystery Science Theater 3000. These types of things were left wide open. We didn't care. But there were certain things, like Sightings, like the show that we've talked about a lot tonight and last week, that were implied to be true. But today we don't have any evidence to prove one way or the other. So I guess at the end of Act 5 here, what we're dealing with is the vibe. Do you feel like this was faked? Or do you feel like this was a legitimate... Okay, don't shmoo me yet. Do you feel like this was faked? Or do you feel like... Go off of your pure feelings. Like, close your eyes and envision the clips. Do you feel like that this was really faked? Or do you feel like this was a legitimate case of something paranormal?
Undecided.
Undecided. Oh, jeez. Yeah, undecided. Yeesh. Okay, well, that's not a no. So I'll take that as a win.
Okay. You're not sleeping on the couch tonight,
I'm not sleeping on the couch. Okay. Not a no. Was that the reason you didn't say no?
No, that's not the reason I didn't say no. No.
Well, I think everybody knows what I'm going to say. I think what we're dealing with is something legitimately paranormal.
Now we have two different answers, so I suppose we need someone in the comments to settle it for us so we can push the right button.
All right.
Is anybody still hanging out with us?
Anybody
I'm
watching?
sleeping on the couch tonight.
Oh, no. No. Blip, no, you're supposed to be on my side. Worlds of Confusion, if you're still there, let us know what you think. Do you think Peter James is legitimately psychic, or do you think Peter James is fake? And you know what? Fallen, you're welcome to chime in here. If you think Peter James is legitimately psychic, you're welcome to chime in. It's okay.
So, Blip, it's okay. Our cat is a good cuddler, so sleeping on the couch is not as terrible as it sounds. The cat is
a wonderful cuddler.
Yeah.
So we've got one vote for yes, one vote for no, and one vote for undecided. We need somebody to break. We need anybody in chat to break the tie here. Anybody, come on! I know we've got people watching.
I generally believe in psychic stuff, but I am very suspicious of TV psychics in particular.
See, that's where I am too, Blip. I mean,
As with most things,
Yeah.
I love it, but think that IT is absolutely bullshit.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I am too, Worlds and Blip. I feel like because he was on TV, I have a really hard time. I think the entertainment value is excellent. Fallen says Fallen is thinking not. Also.
Yeah, Fallen. I went ahead and let me go ahead and reactivate YouTube chat now that
Fallen has said something else too.
hold on. I'm gonna reactivate YouTube chat. There you go, Fallen. You can go ahead and type in chat now. We can hear it.
It just says test.
Okay, there we go. Now we can hear you. That's Fallen, everybody. Oh, so Fallen says, was away and sent the email score. Oh, okay, you sent an email. Cool. But Fallen says thinking not. So
now we have 3 for not, and then undecided, and you are saying paranormal.
Fine.
you have the control and the buttons.
Yeah, we actually muted the voice chat earlier because we had some douchebag in chat being shitty for no reason. That's the way it goes. I'm sorry. Sorry, folks, earlier. That's the downside to live podcasting. But
now we have you, and it's all better.
Yes, it's much better. But yeah, so we got 3 for no.
I even give him that he sometimes has a genuine connection, but I think they have to play it up if they're trying to do it on demand.
I think so too, Blip. Yeah. I think that's a fair take. Yeah, absolutely, Fallen. Fallen says.
Yeah, I'm a genuine believer, but there are lots fakes out there.
Yeah, there are fakes. I agree. There are fakes. There are people out there that are good at reading the room, but let me go into a room I've never been into before, pull a name which is the son of somebody that you take care of who died. Let me pull that out of my ass.
Do you want me to hold your hand?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You're having a really hard time tonight.
I'm sorry. I am on the side of Peter James. You heathens.
We all agree the moustache is truly paranormal. Then.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and now it will live forever as part of our. And also, I did not deface the Stephen Rhodes poster.
No.
There's a plastic cover on top of it. I feel like I should be clear.
If I switch, no, you can't really see. Oh, it just barely cuts off the. Hold on, let me see if I can. This is just barely a mustache. Yeah, you see the mustache will live from this point forward on the face of the alien. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on the side of Peter James. I think this dude is I think if he were to show up today and he were to wave his hands in the air like he did those last few episodes, or these last few pieces of evidence, I think we would have seen something in this house that would have changed you to your core.
Oh yeah, if he showed up here today and did that, absolutely, because he's dead.
All right, look here.
Absolutely. No doubt.
Fine.
You have button control. You get to pick. You get to pick.
No, it's I've been outvoted. All right. This week's case has been proven.
Totally understand that you have a great point. I think I, personally, would need more. There are super crafty people that may do their homework on a charge and make it seem spooky AF.
Yeah, I get it, but I've been outvoted, so this week has been proven as not paranormal. I'm sorry. As much as I hate to be the one to have to say it, not paranormal. Boo. Peter James is like hovering just on the other side of the camera, shaking his head with his arms folded. No, they don't get it. They don't get it. He gets it, but they don't get it. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Well, thanks for outvoting me, everybody. Well, all right, folks. I do have one last little bit to say before we get into the closing monologue. And it's a little sad part. It's a little touching moment because in 2007 we did lose Peter James. Let me put on some sad music. Well, creepy music, because I don't have just sad music. But before we go, know that Peter James was a man, and on July 31st of 2007, he passed on. And he left a grand impression on folks, helping so many people and giving his life to the pursuit for the closure of all the spirits he claimed that he came in contact with. James avoided disclosing his age, according to his friends and family. His 52-year-old brother, Tommy Nast, would only say that James was older. Oh, so I was wrong. So it's his younger brother that we talked about. Nast, his younger brother, is his only survivor. He says, quote, "I can't remember how many times he had people's jaws drop." End quote. James also worked with law enforcement investigators on crimes, but never exploited the details of those probes to the media. His credibility was extremely important to him, Nash said. A private memorial was proposed to be set up aboard the Queen Mary, and in 2007 was planned, according to the ship's spokeswoman, Lavetta Kremer. She said, quote, "We plan to create a permanent memorial for him aboard the ship and hope that Peter's spirit won't stray too far from the Queen Mary, where he has many friends." Because towards the end of his life, he did do a form of a tour on the Queen Mary. Because he did so much with the Queen Mary towards the end of his life that he was like the host of the Queen Mary. And we actually have a clip of a video that I want to share. It was the last video taken of him before his passing in 2007. And this is like a 30-minute video, but I'm going to show you the first couple of seconds because what he says is so profound and I want people to take it with him. It's really, it's something very interesting, and I just want everybody to hear what he has to say. So we're gonna close out the sound right quick, and I want to leave everybody this before we get into our closing monologue. So headphone warning for those of you wearing headphones.
I have a great deal of compassion for those that have gone on before us. I embrace the world of ghosts, unlike some that tend to demonize them. We have to take into consideration that they were people just like you and just like me that lost their lives tragically, violently, and untimely. So the next time you think in terms of ghosts, don't think in terms of evil, negative beings.
I'm going to stop it right there because I don't know if he was getting a little old at his age at the end, but he rambles for like 30 minutes after this. He never really quite finishes his statement. But in essence, he wanted people to understand that when you deal with spirits, you're not dealing with evil ghosts, but you're dealing with something that used to be human. And I think that is the most important takeaway of tonight's episode, that he understood that these were people at one time, and we need to communicate with them with compassion. Don't be like some of these YouTubers that are out there that are going out and directly agitating whatever spirit is there just to get a reaction for clicks. Be compassionate, because they used to be people. Now they are spirits. Continue to be compassionate, and that is the way he lived his life. This video was taken 9 months before he passed. And if he known that this was his last video, he probably would have had more to say. But I wanted people to see this, to understand that he was compassionate about what he did, despite what everybody else
those
thinks.
YouTubers are very disrespectful.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's important to understand that spirits used to be people. And a lot of people don't understand that. There's so many YouTubers out there that feel like they need to be the one to confront a ghost, to say whatever they need to say to make something make a noise in the next room. That's not the way to do it. You need to be compassionate. I believe that spirits are here, and I believe that those spirits used to be people. And I believe that Peter James felt the same way based on his last video before he passed. So, if you take anything away from this video, have this takeaway that he was compassionate, that he understood that spirits...
The vibe I'm getting from this Peter guy is similar to Bill Pullman's character in the Casper movie.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. They used to be people, and because they're not a human that's living, doesn't mean that you have to treat them with less respect. When I watch what's the show with Zach Baggins?
Oh yeah, I can't.
Ghost Adventures.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
There's so many similar titles out there.
The one with Zach.
Yeah.
The Zach guy, the glasses guy. I will fuck you up, Ghost. I will freaking elbow drop you in the sternum, and you're gonna know what fear really is. That is not the way to talk to spirits. If you're in a place that's spiritually active, talk to it with respect, people. And this is what Peter James preached until he passed. It's a simple narrative. Be respectful. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
That's all anybody asks.
That's all anybody asks. All right. So before we get into the closing monologue, you have anything else you want to say?
I'm glad you're not sleeping on the couch tonight.
I'm also glad. As comfortable as our couch is, I'm glad to be in the bed. I will find a way to permanently affix that mustache.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Thank you so much. I will find a way to permanently affix this mustache to this alien in the background. That is our new prop piece for the background. Oh, wait. We have one more piece. I forgot to show everybody. Oh, my chair doesn't roll anymore. I'm screwed to the ground now. I have a new prop piece. It was a surprise gift from my lovely wife this week. I haven't made a place for it in the background, but you know that I have 2 of the 4 collectibles from the Down to Dawn Funko Pop series. I got Turbo Granny this week. Oh, hold on. There we go. Yeah. I got Turbo Granny. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous. I will find a way to get her in the background. Let me try to turn my chair. I have no grease underneath to keep it, to make it swivel. I will get grease. All right, folks. We're going to wrap this thing up. We got a closing monologue, but before we go, take 2 seconds. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube at Beyond Shadows Podcast. Click that follow, click that subscribe, click that ring-a-ling-ding-ding-a-ling-ling bell for notifications. We are live every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you have a personal paranormal tale, case, or claim, or an idea for a future episode of the podcast, feel free to email us at beyondshadowspodcast@gmail.com. The email's been down below us this whole time, and you can also scan this QR code up here in the corner, and it should take you to my cards website, and it'll give you a link to all the socials. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We are live on Kick every week. I think that covered just about everything. If you really want the full experience of what everything we're posting, make sure you follow us on YouTube, because YouTube is where it's at. It's where we get the most tractions. That's where I focus the majority of my energy. I do work 50 hours a week, so all of my energy in between 50 hours a week goes towards the podcast. Also my wife. The wife first, then the podcast. But anyway, if you do have a paranormal tale, case, or claim, or an idea for future episode of the podcast, feel free to email us at beyondshadowspodcast@gmail.com. I'm glad every single one of you are here tonight. Thank you, Blip. Thank you. I'm drawing a blank because I've had 3 beers.
Thank you, Worlds.
Thank you, Worlds of Confusion. I'm sorry. Thank you, Worlds of Confusion, for being here. Thank you, Worlds and Blip, for your sub. Thank you, Fallen, for your follow on YouTube. Thanks for being here. I will check the emails out here in a little bit. Before we go, do you have anything else you want to add?
I have nothing at all to add. I'm just grateful that we were here with our friends again tonight. We had a good time. You know, it didn't turn out the way you wanted it to at the end, but that's okay. We had a really fun time.
We did have a fun time.
Now I'm going to go get this baby from downstairs. Our dog.
Yeah, our puppy is sitting downstairs watching community reruns. All right. Well, we're going to get in this closing monologue. We're going to get the hell out of here. We'll see you guys next week, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Sunday. Live on Twitch, live on YouTube, live on Kick. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight. But before we go, we've got a little bit left to say. So there's something unsettling about cases like this. Not because they prove anything, but because they don't. Peter James doesn't fit cleanly into either category. He's not easily debunked, and he's not confirmed either. What he left behind isn't proof, it's footage. Moments that feel real when you watch them, reactions that seem genuine, and details that line up just enough to make you pause. But when you step back, when you start asking how it was filmed, what was left out, and what wasn't shown, the certainty starts to slip. And that's the problem. Because belief doesn't need perfect evidence. It just needs something that feels close enough. And once that line gets blurred, once reality and presentation starts to overlap, it becomes almost impossible to separate what actually happened from what you were meant to see. So maybe the question isn't whether Peter James was really psychic, Maybe the question is whether we're capable of recognizing the difference when the illusion is good enough, because at the end of the day, no matter what you believe, no matter what you think you saw, we're still left asking the same question. Was it truly paranormal or just bullshit? So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you follow us on YouTube, Twitch, and all podcast platforms, and join us live every Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where anything can happen. So if you find yourself in a house in Southern California that you know is haunted, and you call in a psychic, and he starts waving his hands, claiming to feel the spirit of Beatrice or James Gerard, whatever their names are, don't panic. Don't freak out. Hit record on your phone. Cover every angle. But mostly, make sure you follow us beyond the shadows. Good night, everybody.
A creature like that, how would it ever die?
And this monster starts running right at me.
Annihilated by nuclear bombs.
Beast is not dead. I put 4 bullets into him.
Oh, you're crazy.
But I saw that monster too. All I want is for someone to believe me.
Contaminated.
Face. It's horrible. Look like it would scare you to death.
All right, let's get to work.